builds up early, trashes stuff, M-Dom straight off the rip, turn 2.
Yeah, we got Mystic Mamie. Oh, the stream has alt arts disabled. Tragedy. Truly a tragedy. This is a gorgeous art for Mystic Mamie. However,
It's wild.
looks like we are checking archives
Oh my
and
god, and
1-1. All tied up.
so fast. It goes that quickly, folks. Unbelievable stuff. So yeah, Bridgman scored an M-Dom turn 2. At some point in all of this sabotaging,
Yeah.
an M-Dom ended up in archives. We're even Stevens again.
Everything's no. I told you, Steve is not in the Circuit Breakers deck. Steve is in Bridgman's deck.
True. True.
So we're not even.
Not this
Steven.
round. We're not
There's
even.
only
Stevens.
a single Steven. And yeah, we are just flying off the handle here. So in server 2, do you think that's an NGO, or are we trying to sneak out the O2?
There are NGOs for sure. I know that. I checked in the earlier round and I was like, there's got to be NGOs in this list. And yes, true to form for BTL, there is an NGO in this list, or 3 NGOs. I reckon it's got to be an NGO unless there's some sort of way to combo scoring a standoff, click 1 and then.
Oh, there totally is. You install Tucana before you score it.
Oh, true, for sure. Yeah, just in a remote. Could do. We'll see if the Circuit Breaker challenges. Doesn't look like it.
Looks like we're getting Chestushked.
We sure are. Into a border control.
Into a border control.
Get
border
trashed.
control gets
denied,
popped. Makes sense.
Fumbled. We're not ob though. Just
we're not
BTL.
Ob,
so that border control does not. Yeah, does not get a bestie.
Richmond down to 1 credit, but not for long. Get a Rashida pop.
Especially if the NGO can recover us up. So we're kind of hovering at an almost 9 if that is an NGO.
I'm trying to decide what to do with all 7 of these cards. What is this? Magic the Gathering?
It feels like for the first time after 4 turns, we finally have a break to breathe. A moment to think. Bridgman has decided we're stepping back. We're thinking, oof.
Petra, no ice on HQ. Bold.
My lord, no ice on HQ, but we're install advancing something.
Yeah, Essa being down to 2 cards in grip and a grip size of 2. You feel a little bit more safe.
True. But especially interesting what this install advanced card is, because the only agendas are 3 MDOMs, 3 SDSs, and 2 sender messages. So no 4-2s. So we're doing something funky. I mean, of course, yeah, there's 3 standoffs as well, but that also doesn't really require something. So yeah, it could be the Tucana line that you were talking about.
Send a message stolen. Got a Hordem here.
Alrighty. Hordem is what you want to see. It means that the Essa can't just Banha through the Archer and Begamot immediately through the Hordem. That's something you like to see.
That's true. You do need some other way of getting in there, but Essa sort of doesn't need to run remote servers.
Yes. Very true. Especially if this takes
you got
longer
penalties.
at this point.
Looks like second install in there, so looks like could be Resident Oberth. There you go.
It is the Oberth.
Oberth
chaining MDOM into MDOM. Perfect.
MDOM into MDOM. Double Archer. Ooh, let's see if that pinhole shows up. That would be pretty rough here.
Wow, yeah. Bridgman really valuing that remote server defense.
Well, you need the 3rd ice to get past Bankar.
Yes. Yeah. And I guess this also gets around a lamp getting installed.
Speak of the devil.
Is there another? There is a buzzsaw still in this list, though. So the very inside is theoretically possible at the very least.
for sure.
You can definitely break past that.
Looks like it's back to Bridgman. Um, and that Oberth staying on the board is always scary. You can do some stuff with Oberth protocol.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know it's in
Although,
or protecting? You can double advance that
yeah,
Hordem through a
you
single click.
that Hordem for sure can go pretty wild here. It
And
does. It is really rough though if Bridgman, uh, because you can't obviously score a five, like never advance a 5-3. You can't have an unadvanced card on the Oberth and suddenly bust up to 5 counters.
mhm.
Best it can do is 4 onto an unadvanced card that was in that server. So, you really have to show the runner that this card is advanceable, and then they get a whole nother turn to potentially contest it before you
Yeah.
can threaten to get out.
However, the other thing you can do, which is what happened right here, is first you install a BioVault, double advance the BioVault, then you advance the agenda.
True, true, true.
And the sick thing about BioVault is that the sick thing about BioVault is that it even works against pinhole threading, which looks like is what's happening right now. Yep, I'm so good at Netrunner.
Yes. You are good at Netrunner. My goat won American Cons last year. True. Let's have some applause emojis in whatever chats that you happen to find yourself in right now. Interesting off the Spark though.
Yeah, well,
Why
what
was there
happened?
no install of the buzzsaw? It just says use a
There was no.
Spark to reveal the top.
So what happened there?
Oh, there's no MU.
Spark was played to stop Mystic Miami from dying. Um, and yeah, there wasn't enough MU for the extra card. The Circuit Breaker just played Spark so that Mamie would survive.
Whoa, that is dedication to a friend.
Yeah, yeah.
Incredible. And yeah, well, Bridgman managed to get off an SDS score off that Oberth. The window was open. He took it. It's 4-4 now.
Friends, lift your spirits. I mean,
God, that flavor text cycle is some of the best writing in Netrunner, I think, ever.
the the companion. I love the companions, and
Yeah.
they're so close to being like my favorite designed Netrunner cycle. It's it's just the fact that they each have different clauses when they get 3 credits that I feel makes them a little too cumbersome. I
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have opinions about card design. Obviously, hats off to the people who made these cards, but they're so yes, it's a good axolotl, is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I like axolotls.
True. Or as Axel rudely always calls the mystic, it's a fish, which is not
Um,
correct.
Actually, I think you'll find if you read our Twitch chat, Axu just called it a lizard.
Wow. My God. Am I imagining things or has he changed his tune on that? I have no idea. Maybe I am imagining it. Oh no, wait, that's right. The other one is the fish. The one that's the fencer.
Yeah, Fencer's a
The
fish.
fish that's a
You gotta fit.
narwhal or
You gotta
something.
fish a rat, fish a rat, a lizard, and a dog.
Uh, Fencer is the fish. How did I know? I'm all over that. Okay, brief
You gotta.
disruption. Right. So the card Bridgman was pushing was a Rashida. Nice. Where
Oh
the
god,
hand
yeah.
is stocked up again. Hand is stocked up again.
A weird looking
With the
dog
circuit
specifically.
breaker.
Okay, we've missed so much in this diversion. SDS got scored. Little bit
Yeah,
sad
Lamb is
timing
gone.
with the lack of MU. Whole deal. Leon is gone, so that makes getting into HQ a little bit. I mean, you got Bangar.
Bangar
Um,
always gets it.
ooh,
And then the
icing
corp goes.
archives.
Install Advanced Ice Archives. So this is threatening winning the game here. In server
Yes.
1 with another 5-3, just triple advancing, even if the O-berth somehow gets trashed. It's all fine, we're chilling. You can still score at
So
a 5-3 and win the game. Icing Archives, I mean,
I
it
think
looks suspicious.
it obviously looks
It looks very
suspicious.
suspicious.
Um,
But it might just be a ruse.
Mad
It
Dash
might
is
just be a
already in the
ruse.
bin. Essa's doing Essa things and just having an arbitrarily large number of clicks. 6.
Double
Why not?
running hot?
I mean
Am I reading that log correctly?
it runs really hot. I don't know what to say.
That is wild. Yeah, and the Banhar is targeting HQ this turn. Oh,
Game!
but this is how you become a circuit
This is how you
breaker,
do it. And
listeners.
honestly, this is how you become a back-to-back circuit breaker.
Yes. Look, it very much is in the cards potentially.
Yeah, that was
Turn 9, 14 minutes. This was a
it was
hell
brutally
of a game.
fast.
Yeah.
We missed our stream was down for like a couple seconds at the start of that game, and I feel like we missed a third.
It really does feel like it. Blistering pace by these players.
Absolutely.
Really exciting stuff. I mean, what else do we even have? Um it, yeah.
Oh, remote was just a bio vault. Oh, okay, the
That
game was
is
not as close as it felt.
wild. Oh, but it looks like the stream has moved on to the last remaining game
Oh, that makes a lot of
of
sense.
this round, which is the top bracket game of Amarum against Kikai. The winner of this will be guaranteed in the finals. Even the person who loses this will be guaranteed locked into third place, at least third place.
Mm-mm.
So it is not as all or nothing as those games that we were just watching before, where to lose meant you were out. These players are both sitting comfortably at the top here, and it looks like Kikai's runner has been having a hell of a game so far. Up on
Mm-hmm.
4 points,
Up on 4 points.
cruising.
Wraparound looks pretty good against Almakua.
Yes. We have
Please.
had the highlight for me so far of this day, of this stream, of this top cut was a clutch wraparound in an earlier round getting trashed using Devil Charm, one leech counter, and a crew.
Oh my god.
That was an absolutely incredible thing to watch. And I sure hope that we get to see something similar in this game because
So
wraparound really putting in numbers.
I keep thinking about when I'm building corp decks, I keep thinking about, okay, there's only a couple ice that has more than 6 strength, right? It's like wraparound and tier, and that's basically it. And I always think about that. I'm like, it has more than 6 strength, so it gets past Devil Charm. And then I remember that you can just take a tag and make it lose another 2 strength. It's so
But
frustrating.
that text, for all intents and purposes, doesn't even really exist on crew. Come on. Why would you want to take a tag willingly?
Well,
It's
that way
so
you can
much work.
install another crew because you're playing Seb.
Of course, of course. I I didn't I didn't recognize that fact earlier, and that was on me.
That's on you.
That's on me. So yeah, even though Kikai has more points, it does look like Amarum's board, at least until the end of Kikai's turn, last turn, is more developed, more set up. This Sviga Tagore Excavator is gaining credit steadily. We're chaining through the deck. It does look not too bad, to be honest. Obviously, the Banha installed at the end of last turn from Kikai there does make a push harder, but here we go. We've got a third ice on that server. We're blocking off the Banha. The 7 strength wraparound is an absolute menace. it does look like Amarim can still get some serious scoring action going.
Yeah, yeah, and Vitigor is such good money, especially out of Devil Charm. Are we getting the full
The full
go?
team
Doesn't look like it. Looks like we're just poking R&D, keeping
running
host flip,
R&D. Ice walls everywhere.
and then you just steal a 3-pointer off the top of the deck, and it's an easy game, you know.
It's got to be. It's that easy. We haven't seen the card yet. We're still continuing the run. Spin
Oh,
shuffling
and
back. You gotta
yeah,
change those odds at all costs. You know, these
Camera.
people are at the tip of competitive play for a reason.
Only a 1-pointer. You see, if it wasn't for that spin, it would have been an SDS on top.
Exactly, exactly. That's the kind of mentality that gets you up to these high tables. You really gotta make every percentage count in your favor. M-Dom stolen. Obviously, Amarim would have loved to have seen it, but who knows? I think Amarim is on 3 M-Doms. Yep, 3 M-Doms could just be the third one right there in serve 1. You never know. Kikai losing the last click, running R&D.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
it does
Well,
not matter if that was an M-Dom after all.
oh,
You simply steal 4 points off the top of
you just
R&D.
still you just touch you. I'm always
It's
saying this. People are like, Netrunner is such a hard game. It's so complicated. You just touch the agendas.
yeah, yeah. It's
Very well played by both, obviously. Always rough when you get that sort of rips as the corp.
yes. Sometimes your deck just says no, and you get found out. Oh, and apparently it sounds like there was some sort of misplay with the border control early on in
Ah,
the game.
everybody's always beating themselves up. This game
Yeah,
is so obscenely complicated, and when after playing for God knows how many rounds last week, and it's intractable. It's
yeah,
impossible to not make mistakes. Honestly, that's it- that's a good thing. We're humans. We're humans, and we play this game and we're not robots. Speaking of not robots,
yes.
uh, Bridgman.
God, this is an
I've been
interesting
reading.
segue. Ah, yes, yeah.
I've been reading Wind and Truth recently, uh, and that is the fifth novel in Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archives series. It is a 62-hour long audiobook that I've been listening to, and it's okay. It's pretty good. My review of the Stormlight Archives, it's pretty good. It's okay. Could be better. I enjoy.
That does sound good. I mean, these players have all 3 of those games in that round finished off with 20 minutes to spare. These players at the top level really do know how to have respect for the time of the viewers
Oh
and
gosh, you're
each
so
other.
right. We have so much time left. I got should I go into a detailed review? I've read other books too.
Well,
What do
there is a chance
what
that
are we
we
gonna
just
do?
move swiftly on, unfortunately, for the viewers to be deprived of an in-depth book review.
Well, I mean, it's the fifth
uh,
book in the series. I don't want to do spoilers.
true, true. I mean,
Uh,
where are we
I
at?
recently
Where?
finished reading every single Terry Pratchett novel, so
Oh,
I could talk about that.
that is that is wild. Oh, here we go. We've got the updated bracket up
Updated bracket
on the
up.
stream now for us to enjoy.
Exact rematch of Table 1
Exact
Round
rematch
1.
of Table 1 Round 1. Also notable, Sebastian K, the one game last round that we didn't see, beat Davs. And now Sebastian K playing against Jonold as well in the other lower bracket, chase bracket, in the other chase bracket game this round.
Uh,
Kikai confirmed in the grand final. Amaram confirmed minimum top 3 potential to also end up in the grand final and face off against Kikai again.
I
But yeah, just 2 rounds this game.
I
Two
hate
games this round.
I hate to seem like anything other than impartial as a
Hmm.
commentator, but
For
I
sure,
am
for sure.
very much rooting for a back-to-back circuit breaker. Um,
That tracks. Unfortunately for my impartiality as a commentator, both of the players that I would be rooting for are playing against each other this round, Sebastian K and Jonald. So some rough go rounds in the pairings.
yeah,
Um,
brutal. Yeah,
but
team
what is
kill
it?
table for
Sebastian K
Seb
on the
K,
runner.
T underscore
Yeah.
T. Oh,
Yeah.
is that too tragic? Is that
Really,
too tragic to observe? Would you like
it's
to avoid that table, or do you want to see one of your friends murder another one of your friends?
see that it's really rough. It's really rough, and you never want to say yes, but you also don't want to say no, really, because if you're not there witnessing it, like if you witness the tragedy, it really gives it more weight and more meaning, and
If one of your
it just
friends
adds a
murders
little
another one
something.
of your friends in the forest and no one's around to
Did it really
observe,
happen? Really asking the questions that matter. Um, So the matchup, yeah, the Circuit Breaker from last year is playing against Diogen. It's going to be Esser into PE on that table, and the other game this round we would have is Sebastian K on Rusty Arasana. Seb has absolutely been cooking Arasana pretty much all the time. This is an Arasana with 2 copies of Diversion of Funds. So
ooh, oh, I want to
absolutely
watch
having
that.
fun there.
I want to
Uh,
watch that.
well, and Donald is on the type of ob that we have seen kind of dominate. Well, not yeah, but will dominate this event, or certainly do very well so far. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like we've seen something like that. We have not seen diversion of funds.
Oh,
Well,
we have not
we've seen
seen.
the Ari in round 1 for a little bit. I don't think that we saw the diversion of funds actually being played in that game.
Mm, mm, mm.
Um, so I don't know. I'm definitely, you know, either thing that we watch, either game that we watch would certainly be entertaining. At this point when it's down to the top 6, I mean, what game isn't exciting?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
unambiguously.
is interesting.
Um. Oh gosh, now QTM is calling me out for being robophobic and saying that we're humans who play this game. I'm really sorry. I should know better as a member of the EDI team. I just
Oof. Yeah, that is that is really rough. Where are we at? Where are we at? As
we
the
are
next round been
currently
called with the
attempting to
hat?
decide who we're watching. Should we like
It's
flip a
fine.
coin or
We'll
something?
figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Well, they're about to start.
We've got 4 minutes left. Surely, right? Here we go. Looks like we've locked it in. I've managed to avoid the gruesome fate of watching friends
Okay,
play against each
okay.
other. We're leaving that on the back burner, at least until ESSA or PE wins in like the first 3 turns, which is very possible for either of those 2 decks to do.
Mhm.
ESSA might just sabotage exactly the right cards. PE might just net damage, get all the right kill cards early on, and
Yeah,
absolutely smash it.
I as much as I have a profound fondness for Diogenes and his wonderful janky decks, I must as a prana condenser purist object to this frankly
Mm.
blasphemous PE
Wow.
that
Wow.
is not using product condenser. Like, what are you doing? Come on.
That is pretty wild. Blasphemous, I can understand, and I might upset some Shell Gamer Joys in the chat for a PE deck that uses mitosis. But seeing that this is not even on mitosis, I think blasphemous is a step too far.
Chronic Condenser is such a beautiful Netrunner card.
I do agree. I do agree that Prana Condenser PE decks are absolutely a joy to play as and also to play against.
Right? Like,
Unlike a
you
lot
watch
of
them,
other PE decks, it really is an interesting game and matchup every time.
you you watch them. Looks like we have a little bit of a false start in our game here. Turn one happened, but it shouldn't have. So we're just gonna chill out, just gonna take a deep breath, and talk about Prana Condenser, and maybe we have some time for Rails Book Corner for the next 2 minutes. Um but like, no, genuinely, like when you see a Prana Condenser and it
Mm,
prevents the net damage, you're like, oh, thank you. Everybody wins, you know? You get 3
mm,
credits. I don't have to discard my cards. I like not discarding my cards. I put my cards in my deck so I could play them. And then,
sure.
you know, and then after you have that moment of relief, you have that slow, settling sense of dread in the pit of your stomach as you realize that they're just going to pop Product Condenser next turn and kill you.
I was with you. I was definitely with you for the first part of that. For sure. I was following. Yes. Did kind of get a bit rocky towards the end. But yeah, in general, yeah. It's really an exciting one. And I think I'm gonna be brave and in public say I'm happy that when Elevation comes in, Prana is staying and PE is going.
Prana is staying, and we're going to reprint PE, except we're going to put it on every ID and every faction. Spoilers.
That would be a hell of a game. That would be a hell of an era of Netrunner to launch us into.
Including all the runners. Spoilers.
Wow. Really, really turning what the card game is on its head.
We're really
Looks like we're
moving
good to start
forward.
again though.
We're moving
And
fast and breaking things here at Null Signal Games.
speaking
Looks
of
like we
moving
got a
fast,
raindrops cut stone right into this. Could be dicey. PE has a habit of murdering players that do this sort of
on
thing.
6 credits especially, and Karuna, not the card I would have expected to be sure.
Yeah,
That
Sakuruna in the
is,
deck list. Looks like we're just letting the first sub fire and letting the Circuit Breaker did not escape. It was shown mercy.
yeah.
Uh
I mean, for those Jinteki deck list enjoyers and understanders out there, this list is on 3 Karunas, no Saisentans.
it
Because who
or
really
it.
needs a face check of a conditional up to 6 net damage when you can have your locked in for and always be happy with your 1 credit reduction on the res cost?
Yeah, and you get +1 strength even, you know?
Oh, it it just can't stop winning. Karuna, put it in your
Karuna.
decks ASAP, team. Alrighty. Now we do have to be careful. Diversion went draw, YDL, discard a card. And now we've also seen Sabotage trashing 2 cards from HQ. Because kind of like the older punitive RH decks, Diversion is not, or I would imagine, would not be the most upset at having a 3 pointer or 2 land in archives.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the Circuit Breaker does check that before having 7 points in there, a nasty punitive could end this game early. So always something to be careful of, which might be why Tuno does not immediately run archives, at least until building up more of a credit lead.
Credit lead, a secret secret extra cards in hand thanks to Steel Skin, or getting your maximum hand size above 5 with whatever it's called. Oh, we are checking archives.
Never mind me and my
No
mouth.
fear,
No
fearless.
fear
Well,
and no
to be
agendas.
fair, after getting PE down to 2 credits, not that much of a concern, honestly.
True. Very true. And there we go. We see a classic PE turn in response to going down to
Credit,
2 credits.
credit! Love
Nice
that.
click for 3.
Good old
Best
fashioned
way to
Jinteki
play.
econ.
Best way to play. Banha targeting HQ. Good. I mean, Banha, for me, I'm always terrified. I wouldn't, like, often, I just don't have the mental game to install a Banha against a Jinteki deck because the worst case scenario is just like rush through my head and I'm like, am I really ever targeting any ice with Banha ever?
This is
Because
this
the
is
capacity
fair.
for things to go wrong is
Is
high.
high, but we know we're on 0 Tons.
Hmm.
So you don't have to worry about it not affecting Saisentan. But I mean, also 5 credits. It's a little hard to res an Anansi with 5 credits. It has been
Well,
done before, but
I
usually resulting
mean,
in a game loss.
also more fool me. I thought that there was an Anansi in this deck. No Anansis.
No
The Ice Suite
Anansi.
we're on 3 Anemone, 3 Boto, 3 Karunas, 3 Fenutrias, and 3 Tattoo Bowlers. This
Yeah,
is this is a pretty tame. Whoa, not tame. They more than half of these ice have net damage written on them,
that's
but
true.
a
But
pretty
the wor-
unconventional suite for sure.
the worst thing Banghar can do is nothing.
True. What do you mean by that?
The worst thing Bangar can do is turn Phonotria's subroutines into do 1 net damage and do 1 net damage, as opposed to when playing against Jinteki decks normally, where the worst thing Bangar can do is turn Anansi into take 6 net damage.
Right. Yes. You've got me back for sure. It. Yeah. The worst cases are definitely not as bad in this against this ice suite as they usually could be with Benha. Um, so definitely, yeah, worth
Ooh,
doing
we,
this.
g- we got the Thinkig.
We got the thinking. Diogene did last turn install a card in the root of a new remote and ice that server on 11 credits. Can res any piece of ice in the deck.
Ooh,
Um, And it looks like the Circuit Breaker favoring setting up over just charging in there and seeing what's up.
got that
I
land
guess because the
Begamot.
credit lead has picked up again, so Punitive is back on the table as a threat. But Diogen doesn't look like this is any sort of score here.
No,
Just
Daijin
putting
has.
more defenses.
There's no fast advance in this list. It is.
Mm.
You're not that afraid of taking your time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, agendas, 3 bacterial programming, 3 Fuji, yeah, 3 bacterial programming, 3 Fuji asset retrievals, and a sender message were on all 3 pointers. I mean, proactive win threats are scoring one of these 3 pointers and then hitting a neurospike right after it for a minimum damage of 4. Fuji obviously boosts that up to 6 net damage in a turn. But otherwise, it's punitive or bust. I can't imagine this deck ever scores out to 9 or would be happy scoring out to 9, but I guess that's
Yeah.
also a possibility.
Dirty laundrying into server 1. Karuna is the first ice encountered. Its subroutines are do 1 net damage and to do 1 net damage. You do not get the option to jack out, so.
Yeah,
Looks like a Fuji is
Banha,
being stolen. That's a
Fuji
whole
stolen.
whole grip of damage there, hitting a steel
Not what you want
skin.
to see.
Back up to 5
Yeah.
cards. 4
Okay.
clicks, 11 credits to 8.
This
Honestly,
does look
not
one of the best
looking
positions to steal it in. Yeah.
not looking very dead. Ashen Epilogue getting played while it's before it gets net damaged out.
For
And we got
sure, for sure.
2 clicks left,
Refreshing
13
everything.
credits. Yeah,
Mad
15
Dash
credits.
removed from the game though, so we're not going to see an early end to this game. We are going to have
That's
to
true. Are
steal
gonna have to
those
steal the full
6
9.
points the real way. Diversion, drawing cards, sim reset to fully refresh that hand. We're picking up a different one. We don't like it.
Yeah, but we're very much not murdering the runner right now.
Yes,
So
yes. Essa has gotten into that server, gotten out, and not been counter-struck in response. And now we're just heading into archives. We're seeing what's up. Nothing.
answer
There were
being
a
nothing.
lot of face downs, but we do see 2 punitives in there.
Two
It does
punitives in
seem like
archives.
we've got the permission to run wild here,
Sure
um,
do.
and just check everywhere. No fear. What's the harm in looking? Makes a mandatory start a draw. Click one draw. Diogen, yeah, drawing to find something.
Not
Uh,
gonna lie, this is feeling rough from Diogene's position. Uh,
yes. There's a Neurospike in the bin as well. 2 of those left in the deck. So still threatening some way of winning this game before having to score out fully. But it,
mhm.
yeah, it definitely does look like it's harder and harder, especially with Begamot Lamb up and running now. These double iced servers with Banha to cover the outside ice, and then this 3 credit combo to break any other ice. In the second row, really does let the runner challenge absolutely every server here.
Yeah, just walking in.
Mm.
Simulation reset again. Ditching
Yeah, we
the
just
whole grip and starting over.
yeah, I mean, yeah, because you really cannot, I think, at this point afford to score out. So it just has to be find those nearest spikes, find those agendas, uh, and probably find a third piece of ice for this server, and there we go, and just start pushing it at some point, and
Yeah,
hope that the runner does not find the remaining points in the meantime.
it's only 19 cards left in R&D. This is getting spicy because
Hmm.
we still have what? Yeah, we still have 3 Chestushkas in rotation. Um,
Three
and that's
Chastushkas is what we've got left to access. We also
and
have,
that's before labor rights as well. Like,
yeah, no finalities, which is interesting. Some Essa decks have been ditching that card for sure.
you don't
Um,
need it.
true, 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 true. I mean, R&D
Labor
does end
rights
up in archives most of the time anyway.
Labor rights got net damaged, so that does decrease the total amount of Chestushking that can occur this game.
There we go, one fewer. Still no agendas. There were 4 new face downs in archives that time, but no points.
But that does just mean that they're stacking up. We have only
Mm.
one of the agendas so far out of the deck.
Here we go. There's a card at least hiding in server 1, although with only 6 credits, it does seem this is very challengeable.
Pinhole? Pinholing
Gonna
the
check it
Rashida?
out. Pinhole the Rashida, perfectly incredible. Banha still in HQ though, so there was not really a
Yeah, just
thought
how it drew
of
it up this.
getting in.
I'm just gonna take a guess and say that the first version of this matchup didn't quite go this way.
Yeah. I
But who
mean
knows?
the game was also much shorter. I feel
Maybe
like
this was
it
the
ended up
exact
significantly
game
earlier.
state. Who knows?
Could be. Could be. There's some
Bacterial?
points. There's some points.
Okay.
Interestingly though, the only sabotage this turn was Diogen trashing 2 cards from HQ.
From HQ. And it looks like. But how is Diogen gonna get the. Looking
So
for. Is there a third Yodel?
there is a third Yodel
So
in the
we're
deck, I'm
trying.
pretty sure. Yeah, there's a third of YDL.
But you're up against 22 credits.
You're up against 22 credits, and the single punitive that is left. No, wait, because all the punitives got
All
shuffled
3
back.
punitives are back in.
They're back
But
in.
it doesn't
But
matter. You just can't
the
get enough
credit lead,
credits.
yeah, and it was only 3 points. And now, after this sixth point got stolen, Punitives will not be doing anything for the rest of the game because
Yeah,
the next time the runner steals, it will just win the game.
and going down to 9 cards left in R&D, you don't have a way to score out immediately. Like, you can't threaten to
Mm,
win on the following turn. And Chestushka is going to be brutal when you're down to this few total cards.
yes.
This is rough. I mean, this is exactly where our circuit breaker wants to be. It's very much in the pole position or whatever. Is that a thing? Is that a phrase that people use, pole position? I don't know what that means.
Uh, it's a phrase for sure.
It means
Uh,
it.
I would have said driver's seat, but pole position works. That's like when you're
Uh,
starting off as first in the race.
there you go. There you go. There you go. It's like imagine a pole position, but we're at the end of the race, or we're approaching the end of the race, and you're at the front of the race.
Yes.
Yeah, that.
I mean, at the very least, after that YDL, even if that did not threaten the punitive, Diogen is now at a pretty comfortable 18 credits. 8
This is
cards left
true.
in R&D, obviously challenging, but we do still have all of the neurospikes available to us, and it does just take, with a grip size of 3, it does just take scoring a Fuji, or really any agenda, and then subsequently doing a neurospike on that turn
Yeah,
to
with the 3
potentially
cards
win
left
this
in
game.
grip. Icing Archives? Ugh, this is scary. So presumably Diogen's trying to set up for next turn, install advance, advance, a 5-3.
Well, but even then, you're a click off the following turn to score that 5-3 and still fit in the neurospike. It's
Well,
getting
it's
hard to find
advanced.
the.
Oh yeah, you're right. I don't know how Diogen gets out of this.
It's that all 3 punitives are in the bin. That makes sense. All 3 Botos in the bin as well. I guess they won't present any problems for the Begamot. We are going for an install. It does seem like a push has to happen this turn, next turn. 6 cards left. We are double advancing.
You're double
Um,
advancing. Honestly, maybe the way you win is you install advance, advance, and Urtica Cipher and cross your fingers.
Exactly. I mean, the circuit breaker called it out last turn or the turn before. There is a
Yeah,
single copy of Erdica Cipher in this list for these
Chestushka
situations.
incoming.
This is a big one. This is going to shorten this game significantly, unless these cards all come from HQ off the sabotage.
Even then, like you're so far from winning.
Yeah.
1 card from HQ, the rest from
One
the
from
top of R&D.
HQ,
R&D's down to
3 from
3
R&D.
cards.
That is
Click
wild.
2,
And there are still
Chestushka.
5 agendas in circulation here. At some point, something has to end up in archive. Something has to give.
Running into the front of Tria, taking 2. And what do we got? Fuji,
We
GG.
did find the final agenda. Wild.
Howza.
My lord. Yeah. I mean, tense for sure. There was an
I
early
mean,
lead, I feel like, by the
every
runner,
game
but
against
yeah.
PE is tense. It's a beautiful, beautiful ID. You uh even if you make the absolutely sacrilegious decision to not play Prana Condenser, uh,
Hmm.
I still respect the hustle. I still love seeing PE this high up in a tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Love me good old personal evolution.
And
What a
with 24 minutes left, we're straight onto the remaining game of this round.
uh-huh.
The team kill is on the screen now, team. And what a board state to launch into. The runner, Sebastian K, is up on Ari 4-0. There
Oh
is
wow.
a MCA austerity policy in server 6 with 2 counters on it though. So Donald has the tools to go absolutely wild next turn
This is
if
true, but we're
Seb K does not challenge.
down to 3 credits, so it's a little hard to defend.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a struggle for sure. Seb K does seem to have most of a rig here, though, although credits are also running short on the
Running
runner
short.
side.
That urban could, of course. Are we on bones? I assume we're on bones.
On the Arasana,
Yeah.
there is, I don't know where you're fitting in a bones with two diversion of funds. A
Oh,
Physarum, of
right.
course.
This is true.
This
Oh, Doof is
no no
speak
bones.
of
Doof is happening.
the Doof, and the Doof shall appear. This is
You've got
going
the
to both
Euler, break the
both
Afshar.
this perfectly both the drains the corp of credits sufficiently that they can no longer res the ice protecting surface 6, and gives you enough credits to trash. Oh no, you're out of clicks though.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing is being trashed this turn, but nothing is being scored next turn. You would have to
This is
imagine.
true.
Wall to Wall will get a credit.
Now you pop MCA,
Pop an
then
MCA.
then you install an agenda and you audacity. Install advanced audacity.
I mean,
Simple.
there is the spin, so you can get away with an audacity, pitch some agendas, and be all right with it.
Now it seems like this is
Yeah.
just a value MCA, not going for the score, just going for the what if you had a bunch of extra clicks.
I mean, I guess you have to make some sort of recovery like that, because if you click for 3 credits again and the runner plays the second diversion of funds, it just feels over. It just feels so
Mm-hmm.
over.
Mm-hmm.
This Euler getting through the Afshar for
Oh
I'm
gosh.
gonna say 2 credits,
The
unless you get the install, because the Cuban refunds the runner loses 2 credits subroutine that has to fire.
That's so beautiful, honestly. But if you run through and you spend your bottom $2 to get through, then then you get you don't have to worry about losing 2 credits to Afshar.
Yes.
You
Oh, and
can't
we
lose
see a
credits.
slash and burn
Oh, slash and burning
expended from
above the
hand.
law, blowing up. There we go, blowing up the urban art
Perfect,
Renaissance.
perfect. Nice. Cuban not getting us more money in the future. And we get the install happening as well. Corp does end on 0 credits, but at least the runner does not have this consistent source of money to use on installing cards that was provided by Urban Art Vernissage and Cuban.
Yeah, UAV is gone. Above the law in the score area.
Yeah.
Definitely
A
making the most out of that pretty rough situation that Ari put him in.
Yeah. And this remote server with Enigma and Sandstone is still at the very least 3 credits to get through, unless the Euler gets uninstalled and reinstalled. But 3 credits when the runner's on 5, unless we can find some money fairly quickly, is still some sort of a thing where the runner has to stand back and think. There are 2 sure gambles left in the deck. But yeah, like we're checking out archives, forcing the spin. Spin goes, we're shuffling back. Slash and burn and extract.
And extract. Okay.
Have stays in. Yeah, 0 credits. This is a hard one to come back from.
Yeah.
A hard one to come back from. But if any deck can do it, it does feel like it's Ob. What
Looks
do
like
we
we're
have
checking
here?
server 1,
Yeah,
which is
extracts
interesting
are a great
too.
way to bounce up. It's a Rashida.
Getting the Rashida. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Great one to trash, but yeah, now the runner's down to a single credit, and there's no obvious source of credits for the runner in the future here. So Corp does
Cuban's
look
money.
like with Walter, yeah, but on an Afshar, you're spending money to make money, and it's
That's
it's rough.
capitalism, baby. That's capitalism.
The wall-to-wall ticking down here over the last few turns, though, is getting some value here for sure.
Yeah, truly the full value.
Donald back up to 3 credits. Yeah, Seb K does need to find some credits pretty soon. Otherwise, Donald could could flip this script, see what happens. The armed asset protection, unfortunately, I know we were all rooting for it to come in and suddenly elevate us to 8 credits or something like that. It has been played. And unfortunately, there is just a single copy of that card in this 49 card op deck.
Tragedy of tragedies.
A really rough
Double
one.
Cubone. See, what did I tell you? Cubone's money.
Cuban is money. More and more, it's looking like it. We're up to 4, so we're gaining.
And we found a new UAV.
And we found a new UV. Okay. The money is coming in, although UAV only for installing cards, not for actually anything else. You can't use that to keep getting through ice. But yeah, these allowing it to reposition the Cubans on any of these ice, depending on what server you attack, does help a tremendous amount.
Certainly.
Oof.
Oh, and a Regolith.
Speaking
And
of tremendous amount,
we're overinstalling the Afshar to get rid of the Cubons.
credits are back in. Wall to wall was allowed to fully fire again. We're overinstalling the Afshar. Yeah, like you said, Cubans are out. That is almost like a reverse diversion of funds. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, it's a reversion of funds.
Exactly. The Corp is repossessing those credits. The runner is losing that income stream. Urban Art Vernissage was an install for 2 credits that now, well, I guess with the Eka, still does something,
Yep.
but does significantly less than it was threatening to do
But there it goes.
before.
Simple as you spend 2 of the credits on your environmental testing, you're rocking and rolling, you're wheeling and a dealing, keys on the knives.
We're back up. We're back up. And yeah, like a simple Muse Coalescence would get you to 3 counters on environmental testing, and then the money's churning. But we will have to see whether SibK finds those cards. And yeah, Jonald has the money and the resources to make a push. And this is an expensive push for SibK to contest, or it very much could be an expensive one, only being on 3 credits at the start of turn. I mean, environmental testing can turn this around quickly, but fast enough?
Certainly
It's hard.
can. I mean, Arisana is the physical embodiment of Shaper bullshit, so it's really hard to count Ari out of anything in any situation.
Yep. Yep. Although the nuker definitely, I'm sure Jonald would get a sigh of relief there.
Truly,
Think, okay, we're fine.
we're maybe fine. We're hopefully
We're
fine.
maybe
We're probably
fine. Dirty
fine.
laundry to run the wall to
Okay,
wall, but we're not trashing. We're just saying hi. Sure
just
gamble to top it off. So the money is here. The money
money's
is for sure
money's
here.
here.
But that server was not contested, and it was not a Rashida. And Jonald is having a think at the start of the turn on what to do here. What to do. Thinking. Perfect. Gives us time to check and consult the deck list.
Gives me time to reflect on the fact that I made a reference to something that is so incredibly narrow. Not only is it it's both in time and space. I feel like there's a good possibility that no one watching this stream is familiar with the Van Ives car dealership radio commercial that I was referencing.
We will wait with bated breath and see if anyone shouts out in the chat. I sure didn't, but that's all right. We'll see. Jonald thinking. Interesting. The deck list, this is not one of those Archer MDOM decks. We've got Above the Laws, those 2 MCAs, of course, up to some mischief. We have 2 Slash and Burns, like we saw, 3 Basalt Spires, and 3 Atlases. So a little bit of a different one, but still, you know, you want to get a 3-pointer out there, but the 3-pointer is not SDS. An interesting one, which will also have interesting scoring patterns.
Okay, we getting a Stavka res, popping something here.
Stavkarez trashing the third ice that was on that server.
Flopping out a Rashida. Ika coming down, popping E-testing. Ika
No, wait, trashing the
pretty
wall. Right.
pretty good at breaking Stavka.
Yeah, it has some very nice boost numbers. Very nice boost numbers. Thimble rig potential to be punching above its weight class against Euler
Yes,
unless
2 credits.
yeah,
Oh, not
unless it's uninstalled and reinstalled. That is
and
a bit
we
of a
gotta watch
break.
out. We gotta watch out. That is a double advanced Thimble Rig.
Mm.
Oof.
One of the stronger forms of the thimble rig can take. Although
Not
yeah,
even
two
not even
credits is
not
fine.
even close. Have you ever put an eavesdrop on a Thimble Rig?
I have never done it myself or seen it, but I have heard so many people talk about
About
that,
Thimble Drop, and you
about
do it
the ability to do that.
do it out of game net, and every time they pay for the trace, you get a credit. It's brilliant.
Oh, speaking of brilliant, an absolutely diabolical play from Jonald putting a Hollow Man in a serve with a pad
Bad
campaign.
campaign.
Unbelievable scenes here. And a Rashida just empty, undefended. We were really pulling some mind games here.
Rashida came from the Stavka there, so just eating the extra click.
Mm.
MCA is charging up behind what is 4 credits to break.
Does not look like we're resing that pad campaign. Really devastating news.
Real
Really
devastating. It's so
unfortunate
sad.
stuff.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, maybe Jonal just doesn't have hope that this game will be going on long enough for that to really cash in.
Or just not planning on leaving it
MCA
installed. Yeah,
counting up though,
overinstalling the pad
overinstalling.
campaign. That makes a lot of sense why you didn't res it.
Question is, do we think the Jonald is fast enough on that mouse to have installed an upgrade and pretended like JNet prompted to fast drag away that pad campaign and absolutely clown on people assuming this was an agenda or an asset because of course.
The truly incredible and brilliant play. I love that that's just a thing you're allowed to do in Netrunner.
It is incredible. It's much easier to pull off in person when you can just put the card into archives. A little bit
Yeah,
harder on JNet when it's kind of, if it's really fast, then oh, it's more likely to have been auto prompted.
my favorite is when you
Yeah.
overinstall a resed upgrade, and they're just like, wait, huh? That's not even unique. That's not a region. What do you do? Just, don't worry about it.
Mm. Really, really playing the mind games.
Look,
Sebke just taking a cheap run. I mean, the Stavka was res and had big strength before. Just a
eating
Rashida,
the
as we see.
Rashida. Yeah, getting through Stavka for a single credit with that Ika. We got Cubon coming
This final
down.
Cuban, third Cuban, is in. It's ready. It's a relatively cheap entry. This does put Sebke back down to low credits. Sebke was riding high there for a while after popping that environmental testing on like 18 credits. That was the third environmental testing, so we're all out of those. This
Mhm.
MCA is gone. That was the second MCA. Both of those are gone. But yeah, Sebk down to 5, Jonald up at 11. Cubans and UAV is a combination that is back in action though. So
Yeah.
unless Jonald has some way of dealing with that, that is going to be some pretty consistent money.
Journal down to 9 cards in R&D. Just going for
Yeah.
the classic no win con shaper. Just what if you just were never allowed to have a remote server? Just I'm never gonna multi-access, I'm never gonna do crap. I'm just going to sit here and I am going to outvalue you and run your remote every single turn, and you'll just slowly get sad and run out of cards in your deck.
Yeah, we might be heading towards that. But where are we at in terms of time? I think we've got plenty. 8 minutes until the round ends. 9 cards left in R&D. Which one will run out first? Put your guesses in the chat.
We're running HQ, which is
Running
not
HQ.
diversion of funds.
Not diversion of funds. Credit neutral though. Euler, Cuban refunding that. Thimbleweed swapping away. Atlas. That is a very aesthetically pleasing score area from the runner. Delightful. The full set, as Jonald calls out. Incredible scenes here. My lord. Huzzah, even.
Seb smack in the top of his score area. You can fit so many atlases in this baby.
It's incredible. That was just the first click. Seb on 5 though, but from now on, this Cuban on Archives not going to do a whole lot this turn. We can't get into HQ again for free to just kind of check out what's happening there. This board is going to cost credits to contest. Yeah, we're at the point where the runner clicks for credits manually. A true low point, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes. Oh, undoes it because Seb K knows what a shameful play clicking for credits is.
Because Seb K overheard. You gotta be careful with your commentary. That you
They're
can't talk too loud.
everywhere.
The players can hear. They're right over in the next room. Like.
Very true. We're checking that server. Any agenda from this point on wins the game.
I mean, most agendas win the game.
Mav. Wow, Jonald is in a mood today. First, the pad campaign with the Hollow Man. Now, a rezzed Mav to do a net damage. What won't he do?
The Mav for 1 damage here is so spiteful.
Wild. Seb K does manage to recover though. With grace, clicks for credit, creative commission. The money is still here. Jonald gets a Sviatogor, so his money is also not taking too much of hit and can tutor out. I mean, at this point, not much left in this slim R&D.
9 cards left in R&D. It's honestly searching for anything here. You're like, is it worth removing a non-agenda card from R&D?
Yeah, a really tough call.
Yeah,
with
looks like we use it to search for a 1 cost and fail to find.
2 slash and burns and 3 basalt spires left in circulation between HQ, R&D archives, and potentially the root of server 1. So 5 agendas. 5 agendas around. That doesn't mean that Jonald has the hard task of either scoring 2 3-pointers or scoring a slash and burn, which is not a place that you want to be in.
Yeah.
Ever. We see an Audacity from hand, which makes scoring out for cheap easy, but yeah, the lack of 3-2s does make it hard, and there's the slash and burn. It's over, it's rough. That was a hard position that Jonald was pushed into there. And this Ari picking up a win against one of these obs. The obs are going down. Basalt in the remote, basalt in the hand. Basalt's absolutely everywhere.
Basalt's everywhere. Basalt as far as the eye can see. But let's hope Jonald isn't too basalty after this game. Always sad to get knocked out by another teammate, but also it's happy because either way you win, right? Either way you
win.
And either way you lose.
That's confirmed. Seb K into the top 4 will be facing.
What was that?
Yes, we're looking to throw into a short break after this round.
Short break.
We will. Yeah, the next round is the last year's Circuit Breaker 2-0 against Sebk for the fight for who gets into the top three. I'm Alex.
You are Alex. I'm Riel.
And we'll see you after the break.
And
We're
we're
so back.
live. We are so back. Unfortunately, we are again not so back. No Steve gonna be in this game. You gotta stop saying that. When there's no Steve.
However, no Steve, counterpoint. This is the third game in a row that last year's Circuit Breaker champion will be playing SR. So, in some ways,
In
we
some
are so
ways,
back.
we are so back. And speaking of being so back, we are so back that there's become a third of us now.
Hi, I'm here. It's Eli. I
Hi,
get to
Eli.
watch. Hi, I get to watch the Venti game.
Let's
Venti.
go! Venti. What is Venti? Tell us all about it.
So Venti is a 74 card monstrosity whose sole goal is to mutually assurely destruct your very juicy board state in order to end the lines for the runner.
Perfect.
Succinct. I love it. It's
So-
incredible.
So it's 74 cards. And
Mhm.
my question to you is that for agenda density, or is it so that when you're waiting to decide if you want to keep your opening hand, it says R&D 69?
I believe both are valid options because theoretically you could play 59 cards. However, then as you said, Riel, you wouldn't get the R&D 69.
This is important. Hold. Please pause. The
Oh.
runner is acting. I think
Runner is acting.
we got a ley line.
Oh no. Oh no. That for those cyberpunk pilled amongst us
Oh, no,
is a
no.
yucky fantasy Magic the Gathering card.
Okay, yes, but
not something
no,
we need to concern ourselves
not a ley line, a hand trap. Okay, this is Yu-Gi-Oh territory. We gotta discard a max C.
Yeah.
And looks like the second game that the corporation is a little bit too keen to get into the action. That they start a little bit before
I know
the game timer starts.
it's a little bit. It's really tempting when you know you're the only game going to be just like, why do we even got a timer? Come on, we're the only ones playing. But whatever, we gotta have rules because
It's rough for the people running, I guess.
It's funny you say mention time because I did actually play Seb K at, I believe it was East Coast Nats on Venti, and he actually ended up conceding because he couldn't find any end of the lines, and I think we were like 2 or 3 minutes away from time.
Oh,
So
brutal.
yeah.
Oh, what a champ. Having respect for your 2-3 minutes that he would rather concede than play it out to the bitter end.
Exactly. Yeah, it was like I had like one agenda, and then it was like, yeah, he was like, yeah, sorry, I can't win this.
Wow, what a treat.
Yeah.
Core in the chat here totally gets it. Like, why should we have rules? Like, come on, this isn't what like. I mean, look at it. It says Anarch right there on the card. Like, we shouldn't have rules. I shouldn't have to have a bedtime. You're not my dad. Like, come on.
It's way too much. Way too much. Horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, we're in the last 10 seconds. We're about to kick off. God, how exciting. 6, 5, 4. How fast are they going to be on that mouse? 1.
One.
Bang. We're off.
Where are we off? We don't know.
Seb K being the polite as
play,
ever
play,
and putting in
play.
the extra time that he would have taken to draw that card.
Judge,
A true champion.
We gotta call a judge, issue a slow play warning. Come on.
Yep. My hero, confirming all good to go. Yes. Nice.
Woo.
GLHFs in the chat. We are going.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see some Venti versus Essa.
Yeah.
Very big deck energy coming from Venti. You got makes the sabotage a lot less um inevitable as it is
Mm,
in smaller decks.
yeah.
I mean,
How
I
about
I feel
yeah,
like this is often like a 50-50 matchup because if Essa does sabotage the right cards at the right time, it can make it a little more difficult. Though on the other hand, if Essa plays too low in terms of the hand size and cards in hand, then it can just easily go the other way very quickly.
yeah,
Yes.
and you have to worry about the corp just murdering you out of nowhere. You have to worry about, well, it's a bit harder to get your spin doctors when your deck's this much bigger, but also your
Mm,
obs, so you can tutor for them. So
Yeah.
whatever. It's
yeah.
nonsense. It's we're gonna get to see some number weighing.
This ob does at the very least, I mean, obs in general, but this Venti as well because it's playing Drudge Works, is a little bit safer against the sabotage just hitting agendas. Because of the fact that now there are, as we
Huh?
see, a Drudge Work in the bin. But there are more assets that you can tutor to get agendas out of HQ, but also out of archives using Drudge Work, instead of just relying on the spin doctors.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just speaking about the lack of inevitability that ESSA normally has, where you
Mm,
can spin for your dredge works, which each dredge work is in and of itself a 3 agendas coming back, and the game can just go on and on and on and on and on
mm.
and on and on and on and on.
And on and on and on. And here we go. We see. I mean, it's still a.
Ooh, we're retrieval running. Hell
Oh
yes.
my lord!
Megamon
Already, we do have
And
a
we have
Begamot in the bin.
Begamot
Yeah,
out. Yeah.
straight out there.
And retrieval run, and we immediately ditch another program.
The only way to play, really. I'm sure we'll
God,
find
so many
another.
things. There are so many things
Sabotage
happening in
2
the
will
middle of this
still, after
retrieval
this
run
retrieval run. I mean, we won't see the cards because retrieval run is a
instead
instead,
of accessing. True.
but still, you're straight on those triggers. Strike Fund, not immediately checking, but it doesn't look like we're drudge working immediately either. So it looks like archives is still clear.
Dredge working away at Sam.
Drudge work Sam from HQ. Okay, it's okay, it's okay. Staying steady.
Yeah.
Banhar targeting HQ. All these servers are very gettable, but the amount of upgrades make this a hassle. Because that
Yeah.
upgrade could be a lot of annoying things. Probably most annoying, especially with a credit lead, would be forced connection, which is
Oh,
a
Yeah.
force
way of
connection. Yeah.
cheating those tags in early and getting an end of line kill before mutually sure destruction would usually be online.
Are we looking at Crisium, or is that not on the list?
Crisium is a single one is in the list, but
Crisium's
not
also a good thing to put in
heavily invested into
Yeah.
HQ.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you probably want to check HQ before you do like a blind Shatushka run.
Yep,
Yeah.
and raindrops
Perfect one to
being
do it
last
with.
click here is a little bit scary with the aforementioned whatever the hell it's called,
Heist.
forced connection.
Oh,
Forced
Um,
force connection.
connection. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Corp only on 11 credits, but for sure this could be a biggie.
Yep.
It
There's
was.
our addiction, so I think
Yeah.
that's sort of that works in our circuit breakers favor just because I think you want to get down the marrow as soon as you can, but like,
Hmm.
in the meantime, you're pretty safe
Um, six or more. 6 or more to guarantee that the runner can only clear a maximum of 4 tags. So it's always like a very 2-turn combo kind of thing. There have been obs in this meta that have used wage workers or biotic labor to do a mad kill with end of line in the space of a single turn.
mhm,
Mhm.
mhm.
This deck can't really threaten that. So yeah, the runner is a little bit safer in general. Like
Yeah.
you can always see the kill coming from further away.
Yeah, there was a tournament during Thanksgiving that was all cards are limits, or all cards are consumer grade, so you can play 6 of everything. Unless it specifically says limit 1 per deck or something. And my girlfriend built I want to say 300 card version of Venti, which was
Ooh.
very fun. In that nobody ever won or lost any games. They all just went to tie. Because as it turns out, shuffling 300 cards in real life multiple times a turn is a good way to lose on time.
Yeah.
That I can believe. While I was yapping last turn, though, we missed the absolutely stone cold call from Seb K. Using the expendability on Angelique to do a single meat damage, sniping that marrow from
Sniping the
hand.
marrow.
Yeah.
Absolutely reading that. And yeah, making it take significantly longer to find more copies of marrow.
Yeah, and seeing
Yeah.
the Ashen and one of the labor rights in the bin, you have that high roll of what if you just hit the other labor rights, and what if that is all those cards in the bin stay there
Ooh.
forever.
And the
Forced
last click
connection.
forced connection
Last click
access.
forced
Corp
connection.
dumping
Uh-oh.
Increasing strength to
absolutely everything
12?
into it. My lord.
Oh.
My lord.
Oh no, is this it?
Has this game ended? Laundry.
Oh no.
Oh my
no.
lord. Trace is up to 12, so the runner cannot contest this trace. Essa does not have a link. So we are taking 2 tags.
Taking 2
We're
tags.
ending on 2 cards in hand. If there's credit and a line,
There it
End of the
is.
line! Oh my
Oh.
goodness!
it's
Dang.
all over.
Wow.
Wild.
Wow. And
Oh my
the
god.
dream of the back-to-back circuit breaking has ended. The circuit remains unbroken.
Ugh.
Seb moving on.
Nice 9-minute game.
Whoa.
Top us off.
Yeah, again, it could just be like a 50-50 match. Like,
Yeah.
that I think it's sniping the marrow was so critical. And like
yeah, that
that's
did that.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think like that's the dream as the Venti player to force the runner to get the last click force connection access.
Yeah.
So
Ooh,
wow.
who would have guessed? Force connection, best netrunner card.
True.
Pretty brutal.
True. And oh my lord, that leaves us with 3 players left. Sebastian K, Amaram, and Kikai. And is this not the most perfectly planned top cut? Kikai qualified through the EMEA pod. Amaram qualified through the APAC pod, and Seb K qualified through the Americas pod.
There
This
you
is
go.
written in advance. Incredible stuff.
Incredible stuff. Yeah, that's funny. Our top 4 was all 4 ways of qualifying.
Yes. I did not pick up on that at the time. Oh, wait, is the stream down again?
Completely equalized.
Oh no, we're back.
Just
But yeah.
Essa is, honestly, pretty messed up. Flavor fail. It's Sundog who dies on that card, not Essa.
Unfortunate.
True.
Just putting that out there.
Circuits have been broken, lines have been ended.
Devastating.
Tragedy.
And it
But who
looks
would have
like
guessed Venti Ob in the top 3?
Ventiop in
top
top 3.
Wild.
What a terrifying
CBI.
metagame.
it's incredible stuff. I know we're all cheering on that deck, even if we would not publicly admit it. We all want to see this underdog who has been much maligned for being toxic and big and rude and unshuffleable IRL. We want to see it come out ahead.
Yeah.
Coming from playing Magic the Gathering, I always find it very funny how much babies Netrunner players are about shuffling a 70 card deck. You know, Magic players just shuffle like 100 card decks all the time.
Oof.
It's a bad game. I don't know why people play it.
Really devastating. For all those following it along at home, because that round ended so fast, the 30-minute break for the players has started now.
Oh,
So
sick.
they will be back in 30 minutes.
So then
for the top 3 to go on.
Do we have time to hear about Riel's gay romance?
Oh, no!
We're half an hour. We can yap as long as we want. They can't take us off the airwaves.
So here you have tipped your hand. In fact, you have fallen into my trap. You being a phobic. It is a straight romance. I'm sorry to say.
Ooh.
Sorry. Can I say queer?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Queer romance novel. I meant gay as in generally queer, but yes.
You meant gay brackets derogatory.
No.
No, I've been reading this novel, A Lady for a Duke, which the bit that I was gushing about before we got on camera is like kind of spoilery though, so I don't want to say that.
Nah, we can't get into spoilers.
Well, so
I'm very excited.
I'll talk about the premise though. It's so good. Okay, so 2 Victorian fancy lads go off to Waterloo. One is presumed dead and uses the opportunity while they're wounded and presumed dead in France to become a Victorian fancy lass instead. Then, later, she discovers that her old best friend, Lord Gracewood, the Duke of Northumberland, she discovers that he's got PTSD real bad and is real sad about his best buddy dying in the war. And she's like, oh no, I'm that best buddy who died in the war. And I want to help you because you're my best friend. And also, I secretly realized that I've always been in love with you, even though I couldn't admit that to myself because we were boys and that's not allowed. But I'm not a boy now. I'm a girl. And also, I'm worried if I help, then what if he recognizes me? And then, what if he has to grieve me all over again? And what if that makes things worse? And like, he's in this depression spiral and he's on laudanum. It's a whole thing. Oh my God, there's so much yearning. There's so much yearning. And there's so much, oh God, it's just, it does so many little things that do such an excellent job of capturing these experiences of in particular being like a stealth trans woman, especially in a time period where that's not a thing you're allowed to be, and not all that unlike our current time period. But you have like her waking up early in the morning and walking along the castle and going back to spots where she used to hang out with her friend when they were kids. And then he comes up and is also up that early. And the first thing she does is put her hand to her neck to make sure that she's wearing her choker to like thinking that, oh gosh, she's not worried about the fact that she's in a morning gown, that entirely unseemly for Victorian fashion. But she's, immediately worried that she remembered to be wearing her gloves and her choker to make sure that she's not clocky. And it's like, oh my God. And then, and there's so many wonder. It's good. It's good.
Sounds good.
Keen for historical romance. Good rec.
Good rec, and yeah, that is one of 3 books that I've been reading.
Okay. I'm gonna have to stop you right there. We are gonna throw it over to the break.
No.
For real. I'm sorry. I know we you can continue it on after. But the players are taking a break, and some of the commentary. The stream will also be taking a break over the next how much is left? 24 minutes.
24
So we'll
minutes.
see you back when the top 3 duke it out. We
But
will
I could
see
talk
it's
about
between
so many
Sebke,
books over the
Amaram, and
course of
Kikai.
24 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Start a. Oh,
No,
there's
very-
a podcast. QTM. Any shout outs before we throw it over to the break?
I mean, the QTM podcast. Yeah, obviously.
Get more
We-
QTM stuff.
Yeah, we got to make more episodes of that podcast.
More episodes.
Potentially book reviews coming up.
Potentially QTM book reviews. Who knows? Maybe
Incredible.
I'll have to start my own podcast with blackjack and hookers. Anyways, we're really excited for the finals and the semifinals and the
Top 3.
top 3.
Top 3.
We're excited for the top 3.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Go.
We are here. We're not back. I don't think. Is there a Steve in our Asana? I don't think I'm seeing. I'm not seeing a Steve. There may not be Steve. Regardless, we are live. Huh? Okay. We're live. We're not back because there's not Steve. And we are looking at we're gonna get to see our Asana again in the next round. That's exciting.
Very exciting.
That beautiful Doof Ari.
Yeah, so it's Dufari versus Facet Ob or Facet-ish Ob.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the Ob. Is this? Let's see. We got
Cameron.
MDOM. We got.
Mhm.
Do we have Oberth? No.
No.
No birth
No, this is
protocol.
yeah, this is like the standard Hollow Man-ish
Yeah.
deck. I think for this, yeah, this is the typical Facet MDOM Archer deck with a little bit of spiciness. I think that the key, I mean, it's essentially like a rush deck, and that I think is the key against Arizona is going as quickly as possible, because I think we saw another game with Seb K on the Doof, and that dragged out a little bit and was pretty hard to recover. I think that was Jonald, and I believe this is a very similar list, if not the oh no, that was the MCAP deck actually. But I think
Yes.
yeah, with this one, it's similar, but at the same time also I think the same idea of rushing a little more. And I think the one advantage you have here is that you have Archer rather than just Stavka.
Yes.
But yeah.
Archer being a bit more annoying, especially just multiple sentries always being annoying when your plan is Ikaing.
Yeah.
All that said, going fast is definitely an efficient anti-doof maneuver. Oh, I am so sorry. There is a DJ Fenris. We are so back. I'm feeling we're back.
Yeah.
We're back. We're back.
And I think, yeah, like the one Chrysium probably for burner, maybe sometimes a sneaky thing for overclock, but mostly for burner. But yeah.
Don't have to worry about putting it on R&D for trick shot anymore.
Oh, and of course the doof. It's of course for the doof as well.
Yeah, for the doof. Chrysium.
What did I say, burner?
Chrysium versus doof is a classic. Classic answer.
Yeah. But I think that's definitely the key here, is that there is a certain point at which if the game goes for too long, you're sort of left in a very difficult position. Whereas the runner, the longer the game goes, the more it leans towards the runner, I would say.
Yeah, good old, again, classic Shaper. There's a couple extra moving parts, but it's basically you just have you have Magnum Opus again.
Yeah.
Good to start whenever. Timer has started. Okay. Big excite.
Yeah, I mean, the faster you can score out the MDOM, the quicker you can get to your path of victory as Ob. But I believe there's a lot of love for Seb K in the chat. But I'm always on the side of the Obs. Ob is love. Ob is life. We just
Ob is love. Ob is life. It's hard. It's honestly hard to root against Arasana anytime I see her.
Yeah, I mean, the whole CBI has had, I think, about like 4 fairly different lists. Last round we saw Venti. We've seen the MCAP And then there's a couple variations on there's obviously Benvelopment's list, which is similar to Facet, but different in that it has Arella and is a little more glaciary. But yeah, it's your
Totally.
classic Ice HQ remote.
Yeah, we got
Hitting R&D, getting down the SMC.
Clicking to install your program, says our Asana.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
I believe that must have been a
An
mulligan from, but like that was a keep from Seb K, so probably some other good cards.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the classic overclock self-modifying code. Heading into server 3.
Yeah, that might have been a trick shot, but
Yeah,
don't
well,
even
we
tell
can't
you.
have nice things anymore.
Well, you know what? I think it's fine. Uh Amarim not resing, denying that value as much as possible.
Yeah, now you have to think about if you want to spend overclock on SMC or save the credits for the trashing or just but what if it's a Rashida and you don't want to waste the credits?
Yeah, I think you don't want to waste the credits, but I think a lot of the times as the core versus shaper, your big premium is information. That's one of
Yeah.
your biggest advantages. And so SebK choosing not to use the overclock credits on a pretty decent credit advantage either way. And then just getting the draw out of it, letting Seb trash it, because you really just got that Rashida in the bin, so. I mean, this very much feels like top level play. Oh, can I undo and rerun?
Not 100% what's going on here.
Maybe just not. Oh, I guess. Oh, I see.
Okay, must have been some flavor of miscommunication.
Yeah, I think maybe just forgot to. I think JNet timing is a little weird in that. So you res the spin doctor before access, and then the priority should have passed back. But I think maybe it was just like clicking through it.
Something like
forgetting to
that.
use the SMC and not wanting to lose those credits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think. Oh man, I always this matchup is always really interesting because I think, like I said, a lot of the times your biggest advantage as the corp is information. So it's like you're sort of tempted to maybe res, but like for the most part, you're just trying to get the runner to waste as many resources as possible. Because again, Amarim, I believe, had a mulligan. So there might be a little bit of, not having the 100% ideal situation, but then the way you come out swinging is to be able to like pressure the runner as much as possible into making moves.
100%. And that is really what the op is MRM's hoping to do with the op here, is to try and stop Ari from establishing her engine, stop Seb from getting Ari all set up and ready, and get those agendas into the score area ASAP.
Yeah. And of course, getting the full value out of wall to wall 2 turns in a row.
That is always nice. Wall to wall is often just a pad campaign that only costs 1 to res. But sometimes it does more things.
Yeah, I mean, it's like looking at Amarim's list. Believe it's mostly ice walls that would benefit. Yeah, it's 3 ice walls. Nothing else. I know there's some lists that sometimes play can't remember. There's some other ones, but are like Horde maybe, but I think we're firmly in the ice wall camp here. I've been saying I feel like there's essentially 2 camps of 1 cost ob players, and that's ice wall versus Tithe.
Yeah. That is.
I think a lot of times, I think it just depends. Like, there's some people who will swear by including at least 1 Tithe, and then others must play 3 ice wall. And it's always some variation between them.
I do think Tithe is probably the most annoying to break 1 cost ice.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's usually gonna cost you 2 credits to break.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only a 1 credit res. So like that's thin. But Icewall says end the run on it.
It does say end the run on it.
And also, you have wall to wall. You can ice wall to wall.
Yeah, exactly. There's some times when, if you get it high enough, you force them to boost their cleaver. Like if you got that ice wall to 3 counters, you might have to boost their cleaver.
What a
unless,
world
of course,
that
you
would
get
be.
yeah.
And
Unless
until they get a turbine and well.
Yeah. But it's early game. Turbine's not here. Hammer, I'm doing a big think here. Again,
But,
worth noting there was a mulligan, so there might be a bit of a tricky hand to play out of. So we got 2 cards in the server.
2 cards in server 3, and Ari is immediately checking it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sandstone.
Yeah, I don't think you break that here. I mean, you could, but I don't think it's worth it. You could be one of those players who continues to run the sandstone until it gets to the right strength and then break it.
I'm not gonna lie, that is the same thing as clicking Magnum Opus.
Running into the sandstone to get it down to 3 strength.
Yeah, it's clicking for 2
same.
credits. It's clicking for... Seb just clicked for 2 credits.
Oh my god. All right, I guess that's what we're doing here. We're clicking for 2 credits. It's literally the same thing as clicking for 2 credits.
Literally identical to clicking Magnum Opus.
Yeah. It might be a Trank card here, so I think the overclock is a pretty good play. Yeah, like Amram looking to try to get into a solid credit advantage type place. But, of course, again, second overclock. Maybe
Oh
hoping...
my god, the math!
There you go.
Oof, okay, maybe slightly worse than clicking Magnum Opus.
Yeah! Amazing. Totally worth that 3 credits. Wow.
You get in, you trash the Hollow Man, Opus down to 0 credits, and you're checking HQ.
Yeah. Not going for the Maryland, though.
Not
so
going
at least...
for the Mary.
Good bet that there might be an agenda in HQ, but I think as the corp, I'm always sweating bullets. If, I do the big brain Mav play and then the runner just trashes the Maryland, that's always frustrating. But
to be fair, when you have the wall-to-wall up in this at the same time, losing the Maryland's not that bad because it unlocks the card draw in advance with wall-to-wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, though, I think in this situation, you kind of want the 2 credits more than you need the draw or the advancement counter. But yeah.
Well, I mean, it looks like Amram chose to draw 1 card and gain 2 credits instead of gaining 3 credits. So
yeah. And then we're extracting
We're
the
extracting
Maryland.
Maryland.
And just
Yeah.
like that,
For
Bob
Tranquid.
goes from 2 credits to 8 credits.
To 8 credits, and we install an ice protecting Trank Grid instead of another card in the same server as Trank Grid. So maybe something else is hoping to get popped before the start of Amram's turn.
Yeah, I think you just want to protect that Tranquid because that's basically your credit advantage. And that'll keep you up for as much as you need to.
Yeah, but you see, Tranquid says first time each turn.
Mm-hmm. Right. So you don't get it that turn. But you were at 9
each turn. What if server
Oh.
2's another Mav?
That would be hilarious. That would be absolutely hilarious.
The good doctor draws us 3 cards. And we ponder all of our possibilities here. Oh, a doof.
And here's the doof.
Coming at HQ.
And of course, you still have the Arisana ability, so if you have to install, like, the...
Yeah, we're doing no action before res. Maybe we got... Yep, it's Phasirum. It's always Phasirum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think you always assume that it's going to be Afshar and HQ.
Mm-hmm. You pay 1 to res, powers the B just to save a credit here. And Ari has 1 click left. We can't trash Trank Grid with that click unless we got a pinhole or the other.
How many pinholes are in this deck? None? No, there's actually no pinholes in this deck. It's just Phasera, Cleaver, and Doof. So yeah, that's Tranquid's problem.
So the Twitch chat has corrected me. It's actually free Xylem Entangler because you installed it without paying a click. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, then you don't also have to... You're bypassing it, so you basically only pay 2. So it's like, it's kind of better than another breaker to use it. So now you're not losing 2 credits, you're just bypassing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, Tranquid, pretty good here, especially knowing that Seb K doesn't have pinhole, so gonna take a bit before we can deal with that.
Looks like there's some visual glitch on the stream. Server 1 is wall-to-wall for anyone who can't tell that is obviously wall-to-wall.
Missing no asset income.
No, what are you talking about? That's a wall-to-wall, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's a resed gaslight. Okay.
Come on, don't do that. Resing the...
Let's see, what just happened? We got a Svidagor out because...
I was wondering why the powers was res, but that was because that was after the doof.
Yes, the powers was resed to deny 1 credit steal from doof.
Still worth it.
And on HQ, we either have the Crisium or a second Mav, which is obviously a nice thing to have with your Phasirum Entangler.
Mm-hmm. But again, Ob bouncing right back in terms of the credit total. You know, doof me once, shame on you. I'm Ob, so I get back up to money.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Doof me once, shame on you. Doof me twice, doof me once, you ain't gonna doof me again.
Exactly. Exactly.
And we are overclocking the Sweetigore because a very common thing. Oh, actually, we are undoing before we overclock
Uh-oh.
the Sweetigore. Very common thing in JNet casual lobbies is people not trashing Sweetigore Excavator.
Mhm. Always
Um,
a mistake. Now, I will argue that that was technically new info because now you know that there's a overclock in hand, but
well, I mean, no new info from Seb's perspective.
I mean, that is technically new info from Ob's perspective, but
Uh,
But yeah, no. It's so funny. You can go like your entire game, and the runner will literally never touch your Sweetigore, and you're like,
thanks. I mean, the runner looks at it and they're like, "Oh, I mean, it costs 4 credits to trash and only 0 to res. Who's got that kind of time?" And yeah, this is a must trash on site.
It's like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, they're just gonna gain 3 credits every turn. They're trashing their own cards.
Yeah, a thing that Optics famously don't want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a border control and a sandstone. Looks like we are paying 1 to break border control, presumably paying 3 to break sandstone. And then Op will have the opportunity. The opportunity. Is that why they called it that? Do you think that's why
Yeah.
they called it that?
So you can have the opportunity
Yeah.
to border control. We'll see what happens. Um,
Let's see.
Obviously not overclocking that remote, assuming
Yeah.
that that was a border control on the outermost. So that was probably why they saved the overclock. All right, we're gonna use the border control.
Border control for another sandstone.
Double sandstone action.
Druid sandstone.
Yep. Yeah, I wonder if you overclock the remote here, because I think you have enough to, yep. Because you have enough
Overclocking
to
the remote.
get out like K2CP, and then just break the sandstones for 1 apiece.
Mm.
I mean, that is what you do here, right?
On the
Unless
second
it's another
sandstone-
map.
Unless it's another map. The second sandstone is already 1 credit to break. So maybe you just boost the first one and save the credits so that you can trash Trankrid.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um,
But again, theoretically, another Mav somewhere on the board.
Looks like we're popping for Cubon, which is basically the same thing as a K2CP turbine.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And
and we're putting on a Pishasal. We're going off.
yeah, so now I guess you would have enough clicks to go trash the Sweetigore if you need to.
So true, so true. This is interesting here. If Pishasal was in the runner's grip the whole time,
Hmm.
Seb could have installed it on the first run on the second sandstone and gotten an additional click and returned Pishasal to grip.
Mm, yeah. Maybe just playing it a little closer to the chest, maybe.
Yeah.
Just to sort of test what the corporate do. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could have done that, but I think
I guess you
not.
didn't know for sure that was getting popped.
Yeah.
The border control. We got a overinstall to get rid of the Trojans. Always a sensible thing to do against Ari. It's
Yeah.
one of those things. It's one of the things like playing with Ari's Trojans. You always feel kind of sad when they overinstall your ice, and then you realize that your Trojans just became parasites, and you're like, oh, parasite's a pretty good Trojan.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I think here, obviously, Amaram getting out the descent so that you have two different types of ice on the field. And until you get the urban art down, that Fizzarum staying on the Afshar, so descent be dissenting. Yeah, I get the sense that above the law was a bit of bait in order to sort of make this play of here's the real agenda in server 3 now.
Yeah, and above the law is a pretty good bait in that way, because you sort of win either way. If the runner, instead of contesting, chooses to set up, you just score above the law and murder their whatever they tried to set up with.
Yeah, and notably, all the overclocks are also gone.
Ooh, that is very true.
Yeah.
So every indication is that this is not a yep, and it is a Crisium grid on HQ. We are now aware of that. Every indication is that it wasn't a virus by virtue of it not being popped during the server 3 runs.
Preventing
SDS drone deployment, eating Fizzarum up to 5 points.
Yeah.
Definitely a rough spot for our corp. We talked about wanting to go as fast as possible, and it appears that it has been going fast, but in the wrong direction.
Yeah. I mean, at least you still have your Svidagor, you know?
At least you have your Svidagor. Oh, pulling out Hollow Man. Looks like we are getting a score.
Yep. This might be an SDS, actually.
Yeah, 5-3 off the board, murdering that cleaver.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no, it's an M-Dom.
Although you can get... Well, no. I was trying to think if there's a way to get... I think you could theoretically get another M-Dom, and then if you have, like, an Audacity in hand, you score it.
M-Dom for M-Dom for M-Dom?
Yeah.
No, or M-Dom for Archer.
Yeah. But you can and of course you also get your powers that be trigger.
Yeah.
Calling from HQ.
So we should get it's a shame that Archer is about to rotate, because I've just realized that I need a very I need a very femme alt art of Archer, so that we can rename the deck Femdom.
Archeress.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of, you could get put like Artemis or somebody on there. She's an archer.
Or you could put Lana Kane on it instead of Archer.
You could put Katniss Everdeen.
You could put Katniss Everdeen.
There you go.
But interestingly, that that powers that be could have reinstalled the border control, but Amaram opting to install from HQ. I believe you don't have to reveal it, so...
You do not. This is presumably the next agenda.
Yeah. And I think Seb K having not having a sentry nor a code gate decoder out, so Amaram in a good place to potentially score another agenda.
Yeah, I think by far the best way to get past Archer is in the bin. That Fizzarum Entangler?
Yeah. It would take a little bit of
Shaper bullshit to get past Archer right now. And it looks like we are not having that.
Yeah.
He's 3 to res Crisium Grid. Oh, presumably because it's getting Svidagorded.
Yeah.
For Tucana, value.
Amazing.
It's the circus of values.
Amazing. Yeah, and I think you probably get another border control on the remote, just so you have the most annoying server possible. But yeah, another MDOM. Archer likely on HQ this time, since you already got rid of the Chrysian.
That's rather
Or
possible.
Or you do some nonsense and then score another agenda in the remote.
Yeah.
All right, border control. Interesting. On R&D, Afshar from the Tucana. On HQ, double Afshar. Oof. You don't even need, because you don't really need the Archer at this point. I think you'd rather save it either for a surprise res or just, I don't know, maybe there's an Archer in hand, but I think, you've got your bases pretty well covered here.
I'm sorry, can we just take a minute to deal with what just happened? What on earth was that turn? I'm so... there was one click to install how many cards?
If you'll recall,
from how many zones?
I believe Ob has also been referred to as Shaper bullshit.
Yeah.
Ob just out bullshitted the most bullshit Shaper of all.
This is incredible. What a time to be alive.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, no, I mean, you know what? I get it. People are cheering for Arisana, but like honestly, as an Ob apologist, that is exactly how it should work.
As an Ob apologist, yeah. Just how many times would Ob have had to shuffle their deck that turn?
Yeah. I think also, I mean, you know what the thing is, Seb K could go after something like, either the powers, but it's like it's not even worth it. I think as Arisana, you kind of are just like, turnabout's fair play.
I feel like I don't know, I feel like installing a card from every possible zone in a single click should just win you the game, right?
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing like it's like the thing is Amram only those are
Has 2
probably
points.
So it's like you need another agenda, and it's like I think you theoretically could get another. I mean, I think you're hoping for an SDS at some point, especially since there isn't a simul chip on the board. But you got to play what your R&D deals you. But without a pinhole, Seb K doesn't have an easy way of dealing with that Hollow Man.
Yeah, that is a rough remote.
I mean, even HQ is pretty rough. Double Afshar and no, decoder. Like,
and the second Afshar is advanced.
Yeah, exactly. The most advanced Afshar of them all.
I've seen more advanced Afshars.
Yeah, you could have 2 advancements on it.
Yeah.
So is this going to be the third MDOM?
Maybe.
I mean, if it's a third MDOM, I think you get an agenda at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, Seb K's ahead on points. But, honestly, it could go either way from here. But, it's Azef. Ooh. Hitting the K2CP and the Urban.
And the Urban, losing Urban's rough.
Yeah, I don't think,
up to 4 points.
Seb has seen a simul chip this game.
And we get an install with powers.
Oh. And the Tucana. Don't forget about Tucana.
Okay, well, mercifully, it's a spin doctor, but still, like that Hollow Man on board, you can just score another agenda from hand.
Yeah.
The Sphenogore is gone, so you won't have infinite money, but
Mm-hmm.
You'll still have the 2 credits a turn from ugh.
Yeah.
Still have the 2 credits from Tranquility.
I mean, I think it might be a good idea to go after the powers, but I think that it's not really an attractive target.
I mean, it's gonna trigger a maximum of 1 time this
Mhm.
game. So, oh,
Going after archives just to hit the Cubone on the sandstone.
yeah, and just check, might as well.
Hmm.
Let the purge happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
you know the
yeah.
Spindo is in place. So there was a chance that the Spindo was gonna get res popped on the archives run.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, it's like a might as well sort of situation.
Wild how much this game has boomeranged.
I know. It's really, I mean, that's basically what Ob does.
Yeah.
I think, how differently would that game have played out if, Seb K hadn't taken back that overclock on the Svidagore and had just let Amaram have the above the law, which wouldn't have done anything when it was scored.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think, like, stealing that agenda felt good, but I feel like that was such a key sort of bait that kind of led to everything else because it expended the last overclock. But yeah, it's always interesting to see how the Ob versus Arizona turns out because sometimes everybody gets all their cards, sometimes one person gets their cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's the third one.
Third M-Dom.
Yeah, and again, I think you just get an agenda here.
Yeah. Just say, what are you gonna do about it? M-Dom gets you anything, including agendas.
Yeah. I think unless there's like an agenda in hand or like the Azef,
Yeah.
I I would say getting the Azef, just putting it in that remote's pretty tasty.
Hell, even if you have an Ozef in hand, you put the other one in server 3 and it's like, what,
Well,
do
no,
both.
you know what? You install the Azef from hand with the powers. Oh God. Okay, so there's the border control.
Okay.
And then what's
M-Dom border control powers for Rashida.
mhm.
Interesting. So Emram here thinking that there is still any chance of Arasana
Right.
getting into server 3.
Yeah.
Something which I guess e-testing has 2 counters, like,
Mhm.
but
Well, you know what? It's. I will say though, you haven't seen a simul chip come down.
that's
Emron's
true.
only on 4, so that's a little vulnerable to Doof. So I think it's always fair to assume that Shaper has something up their sleeve, and I think playing it safe, isn't unreasonable.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you have a decent chance of just scoring out of hand.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, I think Seb K's best shot is probably trying to attack HQ.
only a single click left.
Yeah, I think I think HQ might be your best shot. Um, Although maybe, I mean,
Just thinking that you don't have it this turn, you need to cross your fingers that they can't score out. Or maybe Seb has found maybe Seb has committed a tournament violation and put a clot in their deck.
Yeah, I was about to say, is there a secret clot in here?
Maybe they just they just hope Amram doesn't read the deck lists.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. All right. So what do we got here? Is this it?
Presumably this is the game. It's possible it's not, but There's only 7 cards left in deck. Oh, and install in server 7. I guess the game isn't over yet.
Okay.
Unless unless that's a moon pool in server 7.
You know what? I think maybe, like, again, I think they were playing it safe, not trying to score an agenda with MDOM. And then R&D, you sort of over-indexed on R&D in terms of protection. So you have both, you have a border control there. So I think you're feeling pretty safe. All right, need a big think.
Need a big think. Yeah. I guess the scary thing about what we were talking about with them doming for a 3-2 is that's game if Seb can shape or bullshit their way in. Like
Right.
that is kind of going all in. So
Yeah,
playing it safe is definitely respectable when you have a pretty high chance of winning off the Rashida anyway. But
yeah. And I think just like the server itself, I think you had the border control, but I think there was a potential there to like doof and then try to get in or
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, I think playing it safe, not unreasonable. 4 minutes. Ooh. Okay. So this game is coming down to the wire, really.
Yep. Game point for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any 1-pointers left in the deck either, so it's just
No, it's just the
much an
MDOM.
agenda forehead.
You know, I don't think there's an agenda in HQ.
HQ. I mean, there could be a 5-3. Like,
Yeah, you're right. There could be an STS. Although I
That's-
think you would install it in the just to Maryland.
Mr. Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Last click, you're going back HQ.
Yeah, because I think that's your best shot because at least you don't get locked out of R&D. If you try to run R&D.
Going down to 0 credits. Do we see it? Resing a Spin Doctor. There is an agenda in hand. Oh, it's not it. That's not it. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
No, seeing that res, that was scary.
There it is.
There it is.
What a game.
What a game.
Seb calling it with the potential for an SCS in hand and then seeing that Spin Doctor res. Oh
yeah,
my
that
God.
I mean that tells you there was something in there.
Terrifying.
Shows cards in HQ. Audacity, Mavirus, Rashida, SDS, Slash and Burn, Svedagore, Powers That Be.
There was 2 agendas.
Game. There was 2 agendas in HQ.
Dang, that really could have gone either way.
That really, yeah. Wow.
My God. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it was like just the back and forth. Again, I feel like the key turning point was that Atlas kind of, or the above the law bait. And then, that which enabled Amaram to have both the powers and the Svedagore for so long. And then it just snowballed into the Tucana. And then like, wow, that sure is some Netrunner.
That sure, I mean, yeah. Outshape or bullshitted Arasana. So there you go.
Yeah. Was it that one turn, like you said, that it was 1 click to install like 4 cards?
Yeah. And again, just the fact that the 1 click was to install a card from 2 cards from R&D, 1 card from archives, just
from all of the zones.
Just all the zones, all the cards, just whatever.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Wild.
Absolutely wild game, and we're going to have 1 or 2 more wild games depending on who decides to win the next match.
Maybe Amaram thought HQ. Yeah, I think HQ was like, I don't know. I think, yeah, maybe you could have gotten an agenda out of hand, but I think that HQ was a little safer just because Seb had to find a way in first, right?
Yeah,
but
wasn't there a border control in R&D anyway?
Yes, yes. That was the point, is that so like, I don't know, maybe you could have tried to dump an agenda out of hand, but yeah.
Okay,
Like,
regardless,
honestly, anyway.
it looks like Amram's gonna be running into Kikai's court.
Hmm.
See, what is Kikai's court? We got Asmari attack.
Yeah.
And it is doing exactly what you think Asmari attack is doing.
Yeah.
Got a neurospike or two, doing some punies. Fun time for the whole family.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. No, but it's like you said, Shaper bullshitted out, BS'd the Shaper.
Versus Hosh, it looks like we are
Yeah.
having the reggest of possible.
Yeah. The Lago Cam.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, it is Logo Cam, isn't it?
Hmm.
Okay, that's a little bit less than just hyper reg. A little
Hmm.
bit of spice.
Yeah.
No,
It's got one tread lightly.
no. It's not Lago Cam. It's a Keiko.
Oh. Oh, is it? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry. You're right.
Yeah, Keikai's on Lago Cam,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we will only be allowed to see that if Keikai doesn't. Oh, I hit join
Hello.
game again.
You need to tell me on Discord.
I am a fool of fools.
Hello.
Oh yeah. We're getting extra commentators here for the finals.
Yeah, as reintroductions, I'm not Yeti, he, him.
I'm Cobra Bubbles. Any pronouns you like?
And yeah, we're back. We streamed the first 3 rounds, but thought that it would be worth coming back given that we know a little bit about this Asmari deck.
Yeah, you could say that.
So for some context, we're both members of EA Sports, so we're teammates with Kikai. And it's pretty much the two of us who kind of, I don't know if we'd say invented, but revitalized the kind of re-education Asmari deck earlier last meta. Last year.
About, I guess less than a year ago, 8 months ago or so now. We were in the pub and you were playing Education Asmari, and I ran the remote and stole the re-education and thought, I've won this game, and then you played two punitives. And I thought, damn, why didn't I think of this before?
And we've been doing it ever since.
You sure have.
I will say that Amaram's Hoshko isn't quite so rigged, because it does have one very key tech card against the EA Asmari, and that's Class Act.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Well, this is actually
5 influence.
Cobras, you've been playing pretty much, or you're like one card different from Amaranth's deck when you played this tournament during Swiss, right?
Yeah, so I mean, I can't speak for Amaram, but I'm assuming that he did the same thing I did, which was look at Brandon the King's mulch deck from UK Nationals and try and thought, this is 49 cards, and that seems like too many. So Amaram's cut down to 46. I was at 45, but we've made almost exactly the same cuts, which is quite interesting. It feels like I feel slightly vindicated in my choices. But yeah, so this is a deck I'm familiar with. It's a mulch deck. It's going to be the main card actually for the matchup is Imp, because if you can trash the agendas, then you don't get primitived.
That's extremely true.
Yeah, so that's going to be the big one to look out for, along with Botulus, because it can let you contest the Rashidas early to slow down the Asmari.
Yeah, and it's fair to say that like this matchup is very tight. It requires a lot of thinking, and whilst this probably won't be a particularly long game in terms of time, it might well be a long game kind of with lots of pauses and thinking and.
Yeah, it's untimed finals as well here. So.
Yeah, which is convenient for all of the thinky thoughts that have to go into this.
But again, I think that TCA is a very clear tech card where it's like if you really just want to like go ham, it lets you have a little bit of safety. in addition to the steel skins.
It can be difficult against the Neurospike decks, or against the
Right.
Neurospike, which gives Asmari like a little extra reach.
Mhm.
But it also just like it does so much work in terms of the additional card filtering and card draw, like the tempo that it can really give to these decks. It's a 5 influence one of is often like a difficult thing to swallow. I feel when building a deck that can't really tutor its cards, but I'm pretty convinced by the class act in this archetype. It seems very, very powerful.
Yeah, it feels pretty hard to lose a normal game when you have class act down, but when you're playing against a corp that can kill you on as early as turn 4, that's not always the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you avoid dying and then you have card filtering for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and so we have a keep from Kikai and a mulligan from Amaram, and click 1 draw for Kikai, click 2 install card server 1, and then click 3 we are having a think. Now, the ideal keep for Asmari, and often this is often the ideal turn 1 if that's a Rashida.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of ways that Amaram could get to it. As Kerbals mentioned, Botulus can be scary. In terms of tech cards that the Asmari is playing, it's on 3 wraparound, which can be very effective against the Audrey stuff, although this deck also plays the Reg Breakers, so you can't necessarily rely on that. We play a Magnet to try and deal with the Botuluses. And then there's plenty of other spice in there. I think Kika's on Rota Turret. It's on 2... Unsmiling Serevna, which can be difficult.
Yeah, and he's on Mavirus, which can be very
The one of Mavirus, yeah.
You have to be careful at what point in your turn you install your class act, because Klavetnik is very funny.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I have not yet killed anybody with Klavetnicking a class act. I've Klavetnicked stone ships, bankars, DJ Ketzel even to win various Asmari games over the past year, but I've never yet Klavetnicked a class act.
And worth noting, we see Kikai naming program here, which is pretty much the standard against these mulch decks. It's possible during the mid game that you might switch to event. It very much depends on their opening. But often in this, in a 5-6 turn game as Asmari, the really impactful cards that this Ashiko is going to be able to play are all programs. And if they try and deny you the value by installing programs, often that means they aren't getting the pieces they need to contest and win the game. So it's that's kind of why we're seeing the program call, and I would be surprised if we switched away from it.
I'm really interested about the wraparound as tech. Like I can see it being for like Audrey, but I was wondering if it was also like, were people expecting a little bit more criminal maybe?
It is good for the criminal. We see the Botulus come down, which is the one thing Kikai doesn't want, and then decides not to res.
Yeah, the wraparound really is for the crew. Just to have a cheap ice you can res that doesn't immediately get crewed. Force them to have some other card like a Devil Charm to get through.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because the more cards you force the runner to have to install, the more time they need to take to do that, and the more time you have to execute your combo.
In terms of like the significance of this play, that turn was huge for Amaram. It looks like we were drawing for that Botulus or maybe something else, but to be able to get to that Rashida, absolutely huge. And click 1 to draw for Kikai.
Notably though, because of the way that turn sequence worked out, Kikai wasn't forced to res the ice, or it does install behind it again. So often what you'll see is that the Botulus ice gets, it looks like we might be fixing this, because the Botulus ice, you just don't res it, you don't commit the credits, instead you just install a new server and let that Botulus go to waste. So it's not the worst for Kikai, it's not the best certainly.
And really we're looking, Kikai is still hoping to resolve a Rashida, and exactly how we do that is an interesting question. Just the fear of simul chips from this point on is pretty real. Being able to recover or manipulate that Botulus will be pretty significant. And taking the click to Ice HQ, that's pretty interesting. It's something that I've done in the matchup quite a few times, but normally if I'm specifically worried about Imp and Amaranth hasn't shown that threat just yet, so it's kind of preemptive, quite a slow start from Kikai, or at least a very defensive one.
Yeah, Ben does tend to play this deck more cautiously than you're right, though. I think he's a slightly more methodical player in that way.
And
Well,
he's doing well with it.
I don't think you pre-install an imp typically, because I think you play it and then you use it. Just because I mean I've many a times as like in terms of a combo deck that like if you see the imp come down, you immediately purge it if you can.
Yeah. Wow, and this is a fascinating turn. So we're going for that flip down, leaving whatever it is in server 1. It was a Spin Doctor.
Yeah. So clearly Kikai trying to bluff to force the use of some botulus counters here and not Amarim not taking the bait.
Or just clicks,
Just clicks as well, yeah.
So we res that Spin Doctor, click 1, we're going to play Sudden Commandment. Kikai's looking to resolve a YDL this turn. But it can be a fickle thing, and deciding at this point if he doesn't have a YDL in hand, if he's going to continue to draw to try and find it, or if he's going to course correct and start installing cards so that he has less to discard at the end of turn. We hit the predictive to draw 3, so we do get the YDL for 10 and the second YDL.
Yodel, yodel, yodel.
The double YDL, big money play.
Yeah, starts the turn on 7 credits, finishes the turn on 21. Is not bad, and that Spin Doctor should potentially help us clean up if we need to. So,
and that winds up being all the credits you need in for this deck. You get that early spike, and that tells the runner that you can't go running because if you accidentally touch a 3-pointer, you just die.
Yeah.
Turns out that touching the agendas doesn't always win you the game.
This is why I cannot wait until this card rotates. I'm so good at I'm too good at touching agendas.
Well, you just need imp installed, and then you can touch the one you like.
Yeah.
That's what
I
Amarim's
know.
looking for here. Most important card in Amarim's deck at this point, definitely the imp, I would say.
Yeah. And Kikai is now basically has the credits, and on the combo turn the credit total we're looking for is 10 if we have an advancement counter on the re-education, so that's kind of where we're getting to, and the ice is for the most part designed or chosen to be as cheap as possible to res, so yeah, I think you're right, 21 credits should get us through to the end of the game. It's just a question of, are we going to is this Ashiko going to get spun up to the point where it can really prison us out? And Amaram, I think, is making a lot of the correct decisions, which is that what we need is to draw cards and find the pieces to contest the server when it comes online. We imp a Rotor Turret. Rotor Turret, one of the important cards.
Kikai
Classic
just
card you
purged
can come
here.
Yeah, I think purging is not unreasonable, like I was saying earlier, especially if you're, I guess not purging, but
yeah, it's pretty hard to purge when your deck is built to take maybe 15, 18 clicks total in the whole game.
That's
Spending 3
fair.
of them to purge is a bit tough. We just have to kind of eat this imp. I hope it doesn't find too many agendas.
Yeah, with the Spin Doctor on the table, he might well be feeling okay about it.
that's true.
They're setting up our second server, so we're not over installing the botulus. We are starting a second server. The subtleties of when that is and isn't the right decision are very interesting.
Do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Saviour N6?
There are currently no programs in the bin. And if we were to overinstall this ice, we'd put a program in the bin, and we would be allowed to use Simulchip for all of the crimes that Simulchip commits. And this is just trying to play around the incredibly technical deck that is Mulch.
Yeah.
The imp does give you liberty to just kind of keep smashing R&D.
Yeah, that's definitely a line here, and it lets you stay on the front side, the back side of Hashiko as well, which means you're just drawing for the pieces you need. But you're pretty poor, so you've got to be careful.
Lago down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting
Lago.
And we do fire a Ashiko.
Lago does.
Yeah.
Lago definitely messes with some of that kill math as well.
Yeah, it can do. Although, if everything goes right for Kikai, ideally he'll only be triggering Lago once this game. He just wants to tell me he installs re-education and Hollow Man, and then kills the next turn. So Delago might not get tons of triggers.
Yeah, and we're really just. It seems like he's looking for that ice. He wants to build a remote server that the Hashiko is going to have to be forced to produce a lot to deal with, and it seems like that's been the major struggle. Is just finding something that we can be content with, and it's like borderline impossible to set up a remote server that on any given turn you're 100% guaranteed that is impregnable to mulch. But magnets, things like that can really do a lot, and we are playing that YDL, which is interesting.
Wow.
Maybe we have a triple punitive line in mind.
Yeah, one thing to talk about as well while Kiko takes his turn is
Fermenter in the heap.
Oh yeah, this is a grand final, but it's not quite an equal playing field because Kikai has not lost a game yet today, and Amaram lost one earlier to Kikai. So if Kikai wins this game, that's it. We have a circuit breaker, and if Amaram wins, we go to a game 2.
Yeah, and they'll be running back their Ob versus
Hashiko,
Kruhosh matchup.
Mm.
We're drawing
Yeah.
cards.
YDL's gotten about, out of 3 YDLs, it's almost like 30 credits total.
And now this
Watching
is
down
interesting, that Audrey
HQ.
coming down. Master chess for Reson HQ, that is expensive for both players.
Maybe that's why we played the third YDL. Got expensive ice on the table.
We chuck out. We did get a programming unit, and we did.
What a puny out of hand.
Oh, hello.
1 punitive out of the way.
Yeah.
And more importantly, that's Audrey on the board with counters. That's like the first part of being able to contest the remote.
And we
And
are
apparently
spending an
there's
entire
a
turn
ton
to
of
purge.
Wow.
It's a lesser spotted purge from Asmari.
I don't know if I've ever done that. That's very exciting.
I mean, there might have been like a triple punitive in hand, so like losing the 1 punitive means you only have a 2 punitive hand.
Yeah. I mean, an
Only
important
15
thing.
cards left in deck.
Yeah, I think an important thing in the matchup is where is the Mavirus, right? And when there are 15 cards left in R&D, a lot of the time the Mavirus is in hand or in the server, and we've got a strong read that that's not the case. So and we're just taking a slow turn. 24 cards left in Hashiko's stack, and still no Simulchip hitting the table. I guess it's a card you don't need to show until you need it, but Kikai could quite possibly push the kill this turn. Install advance would be threatening lethal.
Yeah.
But we're drawing.
Yeah, I mean, and I think, at this point, the credit advantage is so wide that just installing the programs doesn't make that much of a difference, and you just kind of want to keep hopefully getting enough money on a fermenter.
Yeah, and holding those Steelskin Scarrings in hand.
Yeah.
Install.
Get the logo. We
Steelskin
hit
for-
Steelskin off the top.
beautiful.
Got 3 cards in hand. That's the first Steelskin out of the game. Last click, and we're probably debating between advance and ice, I think.
I mean, yeah, assuming this is re-education, it might be that the first quick draw suggests to me that maybe Ben hadn't drawn the re-education already, so we've got,
That was just some number of the pieces. Because if there was re-education in the remote but no Hollow Man, you could have just triple advanced.
Another card. Okay, so we're guessing there's a Mavirus in server
yeah.
too?
So this is the kind of fork, right? The double upgrade is a fork in the matchup because it could be Hollow Man, re-education, Mavirus. In which case, you're going to really struggle to get to it as the runner because the Mavirus is going to purge your Audrey during the run. Or it could be Hollow Man, re-education. In which case, for quite a lot of credits, but significantly less than Kikai has with all those YDLs, you can actually kill next turn without having any pre-advancements.
That's very true.
So we could be seeing the runner's last turn here.
Yeah, we are threatening lethal at this point. It costs 15 credits, and I don't think there's a way that Kikai spends 15 credits this turn. So it's really a case of, do you have it, and do you have a way to get in here and then survive through punitives?
Or just rip 9 points of R&D.
Yeah.
Or just rip 9 points after off R&D. It's tragic that that's an out the runner is allowed to take, but I always forget they can do that.
I think if there was a Mav, you might have just like tried to use it to get rid of the fermenter because it's at that awkward position where you don't always want to purge it, but it's like you want to make sure the runner has no outs whatsoever.
Yeah, I do wonder if starting the turn on 3 credits would have been too little. It's difficult to know, because like if you can make them make a run where you end up like purging an imp at the last second, it can be pretty massive. The timing windows aren't favorable for Asmari on that if they've got a single chip installed, but it is a line to get a punitive kill. Although yeah, it really looks like Kikai is hoping to get the combo kill here. But with the amount of the deck that this Hashiko's got through, I can't help but believe that there is a world in which they get in. But maybe we've got something.
I mean, it's tough just clicks wise, right? Like, assuming there are two different kinds of ice on the remote, which you would hope there are, probably a barrier and a code gate because the only end run the sentry on the deck got imped earlier. Then we're looking at needing to click fermenter, install 2 different icebreakers,
or a single chip or something,
and run, or maybe a single chip, but still, even then, you need 2 tools for 2 ice, right?
Yeah,
that's 2 clicks, and then you also need an imp to imp the agenda if you're going to not die. So
right. I mean, if you're able to get the maximum cards with the class act by installing it, like if you get what would be up to like 9 cards, can you still avoid? I would assume that still avoids the kill, right?
It would do, yeah. Without an unresed spin doctor, it would. I think we're not on threat, so we wouldn't be able to do any shenanigans with summon commandments unless we kind of double punitive line with this credit total. It's possible, but it would be a niche out at that point.
Yeah. So I think you're able to not die this turn at the very least.
Yeah, if you have class act, it should buy you a turn. But if you don't, this is a really tough spot for the runner. You've got a lot of thinking. You have to try and figure out, is there any way at all that I get into this remote server and live? And if there isn't, what's the best way for me to just get as many accesses as I can right now?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, if I was the Asmari player, I would be sweating bullets right now because with 8 cards in hand and 3 credits and this fermenter, Mulch can do a lot.
Yeah. I think thing we were talking about earlier about purging, about popping the map at the start of the turn, when Hosh has 8 cards in a hand, I don't think that's really viable. Moshing could easily just gain... True. Like, moshing, discarding 2 strike funds is entirely possible, and that's so much money.
It's true. Yeah, I was just thinking, like, if it was, like, a very, very sure thing, maybe it would be, like, a line, but, like, yeah, there's still potential for moshing, and it kind of would reveal a little bit of the game if you show that one of those upgrades is or one of those cards is a map.
And we know that Amarum is a very calculating and careful player. We saw that in the last game. A lot of time to think, and this is an untimed finals, but, you know, we're only 20 minutes into the game. There is, like, no reason to rush these turns. Taking your time to think through and make sure you're taking the best possible line is what the Asmari deck requires of you, right? It requires pretty much 0 mistakes, but with a deck like Mulch, if you make 0 mistakes, you absolutely can do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because there really is, like, this is still, like, it feels like it could be the end of the game, but it's also still early game, you know?
Yeah, we're definitely threatening the win. And, like, a turn 8 game is about as long as Asmari can stand to go. If it goes much longer than that, your odds get pretty slim. Cobra Bubbles and I played this exact matchup on stream 2 weeks ago.
Yes, 3 weeks ago now, in the New Year's Showdown.
That's right. And there was a lot of thinking involved. A lot of thinking.
I had so many decisions to make that I forgot there were 6 points in archives, which is always a tough one.
I've had several games against Asmari in testing where the Asmari player, if the game goes again to like turn 8 onward, they wind up in serious risk of decking.
Yeah.
Just the deck is very well tuned to score a single agenda.
To draw
And-
it as fast as possible, to score it, and chuck a bunch of cards in the bin on your way there. And yeah, especially in the ESSA matchup, your odds of decking are very high.
Yeah.
Even here,
Yeah.
with him
Notably,
trashing things out of our
Notably-
some games.
Notably, the buffer drive is in the bin, probably from a Lago, if I had to guess, or maybe just thrown out. But yeah,
Yep. Cleaver in the
Matchup's
bin.
way too fast to bother installing buffer drive.
Cleaver in the bin
Yeah.
makes the kind of wraparound threat potentially like pretty significant.
Yeah, if we
Mhm.
because we have the symbol chip here.
But if we're using that symbol chip, we're not using it for other stuff. It's tough. And yeah, you've got to think, just as both players here, your heart rate is going to be pretty high. As Kikai, you know exactly how dangerous this is for the runner. If you're the runner here and you don't, and you're worried about Mavirus, do you ever call their bluff? Do you?
What, just say, you don't have me dead, I'm just going to do my own thing.
Yep.
You could try. I mean, look, it's possible. I think if you're really reading between the lines, that click one draw, the previous turn suggests that he didn't have the education already. So
He didn't have some part of what he needed.
yeah. So either he got lucky or he's bluffing.
Click one Paladin is very interesting. It does imply that we aren't necessarily going to be challenging this remote.
Yeah.
I guess,
Click one Paladin is definitely in line with having
Surviving a
Class
turn.
Act.
Yeah.
Well, with having Class Act, you want to play out your cards, pop Fermenter, play Class Act, right?
yeah,
That
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. And I
Actually-
think you're really, really focusing on the speed here because, like, I guess it's 2 labor rates already gotten thrown out earlier, and you're really just focusing on getting, or 3 labor rates got thrown out early, so it's like you're really focusing on the speed as much as possible, but like also at some point you have to take a break and say, okay, I got to prepare to win.
Yeah,
this is
so
the
the
only
price-
port that can run its deck out before Mulch runs out theirs.
Mhm.
The price got ditched there, which again,
Interesting.
if it indicates, in my mind, indicates that Class Act is in the grip, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's valid.
Yeah, I think that's a good read.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, because I think it's like you pop Fermenter and then install Class Act and then, see what happens next turn. But it's a very delicate balance here. Because I think in some way, like, labor rights and buffer drive can be like kind of out, but it's like it's still not fast enough for what you're up against here.
Install the symbol chip.
Symbol chip?
Symbol
And-
chip.
Do we have the Class Act? Do we think we can challenge this remote server?
Oh, maybe they don't. Maybe they're just.
Oh, like
We are running the Spin
Running
Doctor
server
last
1?
click.
Maybe Spin Doctor.
It's very interesting.
So this is saying,
Hmm.
I don't believe you have
Fascinating.
it. I'm going to get rid of the spin so that I can imp agendas and steal
Yeah.
them later.
yeah, just you
Yeah.
are bluffing.
And what are we
Yeah,
gonna
maybe-
shuffle back?
Maybe that was part of why the
Punitive and an unseen card.
why that server stayed was just thinking like, okay, I can just have liberty to throw out agendas in case they decide to check archives.
Yep. And Kikai takes mandatory draw. We're seeing the Hollow Man. This implies that we have it.
Second Hollow Man.
The second Hollow Man.
Oh
and
my
that
goodness.
looks like
God.
it should be...
Oh,
Ooh.
Wait,
Wait.
We're looking to trash a
Wait,
steel
for
skin
what?
with the order here.
Yeah, Steel Skin.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Audrey.
Catching Steel Skin before Audrey. Yeah.
Yeah, has to be action after the Hollow Man.
We
race,
could
but
do
that's
it-
fine.
2 Steel Skin would get us safety.
Yeah, because I think 1 Steel Skin gets you at 6 cards. Oh yeah, because you still need to have at least a Neurospike in hand.
And we're going again. So we have 7 cards in hand. That is not enough to make us safe.
Shouldn't be, no, because we bottom 5 So this has one minor application, which is if Ben doesn't have the neurospike and is digging for it, he can only dig one card fewer, I think.
Yep.
But
We score the re-education. We're putting back 5 cards. This could be the tournament right here.
Oh no.
oh, Amaran doesn't like
Doesn't
his
like it.
chances. We'll see. I mean, it could be a like digging for neurospike here rather than having it in hand.
He says, I think so. He is. Do you know the resolving re-education on JNet is not as easy as it looks. It is.
True.
It is the kind of thing that you need to check and double check to draw.
That's 5 cards.
5
down,
cards.
down.
5 cards.
And do we have last click?
Press the button, Ben. Come on, man.
Oh my lord, my heart is in my chest. GG.
There it is.
There it
Oh.
is.
We have a
GG.
circuit breaker.
We have a circuit breaker. Congratulations to Kikai. An absolutely stellar
Congratulations.
performance. I think we're going to try and get Kikai on the line.
We can try and do that. I
Yeah,
don't know how,
yeah.
But let's give him a couple
what-
minutes.
Yeah, we can give him a couple of minutes. What are your guys' thoughts at the end of that wonderful tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kill decks are sure decks.
There was a lot of it around.
Yeah.
Yeah, as much as I'm still really sad about missing the deck registration deadline, I am not too sad about not having to play against punitive Counter-Strike.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like punitive PE also being like a thing. That's kind of wild.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the expectation coming into this was that punitive would be a huge amount of the corp decks, and
Yeah.
that seems to be reflected in reality. Punitive's very good right now, and yeah, it is a very mathy netrunner
Wow.
that is absurdly fast, and it's something that I've talked about a lot that makes me really love like playing Prana PE decks is you force the runner to make risky plays where the deck is so fast at scoring and has this perpendicular kill condition
Mhm.
such that the runner is forced to interact in times which it has a chance of leading them to die. If you sit back, if you let the corp do their thing, if you don't put your life on the line, you risk the corp just winning before you can stop them. And if you go too fast and go too out there, then they just flatline you. The
Yeah.
other way.
And I think it can kind of be a bit of a cheesy line of play to like force the runner into a mistake. But on the other hand, there's like, it's not always about just forcing them into a mistake. Like you're saying, Riel, it's like, it's forcing them to make a mistake, but then also having a backup plan in case they don't make the mistake that you thought they were going to make.
Well, it's not so much forcing them to make a mistake. It's
Right.
forcing them to take risks. It's
Yeah,
either way. They have to make a calculated risk either way.
And with this
And-
and with the PE deck, it's a hard fork between Neurospike and Punitive a lot of the time.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
are going to hop to a different channel to have the final interview with Kikai. I would say thank you to the two of you so much for doing the commentary, and thank you to all of our commentators that we've had today, Jai and Hammer Fun, and all of the commentators we've had over the course of the event, all of the players we've seen on stream, everyone from No Signal, Craw for organising the event and doing all the work. Thank you, everyone. Did you two have any parting words?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on here. This was wonderful. I love Netrunner. This is awesome. Congratulations to our new Circuit Breaker.
Yeah, congrats to the new Circuit Breaker, and I'm looking forward to more decks in the future that are doing fun things. Hopefully more ob decks.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We're going to hop on the line with Kikai. Let's try that. Any moment now, we should be joined. Hello.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and clear. How does it feel Circuit Breaker.
Are we live, or is it just you and me?
We're live. It's me, you. We've got Code Bubbles here, and we should be
Hello.
live on stream.
Oh man, I'm glad I had a cup of tea before that last game. My nerves are a little bit shot.
I can only
Okay.
imagine. It looked like quite the tough one.
Yeah, we had 4 commentators on for that game, and there were still moments where we were all completely silent for the suspense. Yeah, really hell of a game.
I got a notification that my heart rate hit 150 beats per minute whilst watching that game, so thank you for that. Talk to us about the whole tournament. How does it feel? This is by far and away the largest tournament you've ever won, right?
Yep, definitely. Yep. Feels weird. Yeah, no. So, going into the top cut, I wasn't really sure about some of the choices that I made. Like, for example, in the Ismari, we make jokes, right, about how the ice suite doesn't really matter. And I made the choice to go with the second Unsmiling because I thought it would be better against the Shaper matchup. I didn't res Unsmiling once in the entire tournament. The Hashiko, I thought, is like of 15-15, and Torpedo Tyrus played this Anakam Crew Hosh from the New Year's Showdown, which I thought was super hot and fixed a lot of the problems we'd had with the Crew Hosh previously. It went 2-2 in Swiss, so I was kind of coming into the top cut thinking, I kind of wished I was playing Steve. But that host deck did so well today.
It looked amazing.
It played so well. Yeah, it's such a cool deck.
Nice. Just to confirm, sorry. So Hosh went 2-2 in Swiss. Asmari went
4-0.
4-0, and you didn't lose a game today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it 2 Asmari wins
Yeah.
in the cut and 3 Hashiko wins in the cut?
Yeah.
Sounds right. The strat in Swiss was to dodge all of the Shaper matchups and just play against Anok and Criminal. That worked really well. And then the one Shaper I played in the top cut was against John Aldon Arasana. That was a heck of a game.
I can't imagine
Like
anything
that-
more terrifying. How did that game go?
There was a lots of you're in my head, but I know that you're in my head, so that means I'm actually in your head. There was a lots of like bluffing a spin doctor naked turn 1, but then icing it to make it look like re-education, but actually it was spin doctor all along. Like it was fun. It was fun.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's so good. And yeah, I mean, congratulations. You had a quite the year in 2024, and it looks like 2025 is getting off to a good start.
Yeah, now you just need to somehow write the Surveyor recap of this tournament in a way that doesn't make you sound like a massive big head.
I usually just stick to the numbers. I usually think that's pretty safe.
Yeah. Circuit Breakers won by Kikai, won. Circuit Breakers won by other competitors.
Yep, that sounds about right. Well, thank you so much. You did incredibly this weekend. It's been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, go have yourself a second cup of tea to celebrate, I think.
Would you mind if I did a quick shout out before I head on? Is that okay?
Do.
So I wanted to do a shout out to Craw and Axu and Radiant and Off 1515 and everyone else that was involved in organising the CBI. Thank you very, very much for putting together a great tournament. But I wanted to do a bigger shout out to every single other tournament organizer in the world, because if it's a huge amount, like time investment, it's a huge effort investment. A lot of the time it's a financial investment, and like, you're the unsung heroes of Netrunner. And if you didn't put on those tournaments, none of us would be here playing the CBI, and none of us would actually really be playing Netrunner, I don't think. So like, just huge shout outs to all of the tournament organizers everywhere.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and just to come in on that, district championships are starting in many parts of the world very soon. So yeah, go support your local tournament organisers, get involved. There's a lot of, as we've seen in this tournament, there's still a lot of fun to be had in Standard, with Elevation not yet out until April. So yeah, lots of exciting narratives to be played. And yeah, go join in your local events, win an invite for yourself maybe, and maybe you could be Circuit Breaker next year.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you wanted to cap off with, Kikai?
No, that was it. I guess dice to open deck list, but no, that was it. Like, awesome.
Perfect. Yeah.
He said it. He said it. I didn't.
On that note, thank you everybody who's watched. It's been an absolute blast. Yeah, we'll see you for the next one.
Hell yeah.
Congratulations, Kikai. See you all later.
Thanks.